Welcome to our second edition, our second episode of Glitter and Gators. Today, guys, I know y'all can see we got Dawn with us. We are hanging out. Me and Lisa and Dawn. We're gonna do some OcculTea.
Also, shout out to the amazing intro that was gifted to Dani and I.
It was so cute.
That was actually painted by the artist who illustrated the Wisdom of the Pooh Tarot. And it is the most delightful thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
So adorable. So
adorable. I'm like, I would love to be at that tea party. Gator and all.
The best. I love the Alice vibes. I love all of it.
I know, I love it.
I know. Oh my god.
So cute. So
Hello,
cute.
everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Y'all have to forgive me. I am not an expert at lives. So
You don't have to be. It's all good.
It's all
we're just gonna flow.
It's
We're
all
just gonna
good.
flow. How has everybody been this morning? We chit-chatted for a little bit behind the scenes, but not much.
Yeah.
I've been up and about.
No. Just long enough to get ready for this. Not a morning person. Hashtag not a morning person.
Yeah.
I'm having my first sips of coffee. Look how full I filled this thing. I'm like, I'm not sacrificing.
It's going to end up in your lap here in just a second.
Thanks, me. It's going to be
No.
okay.
I was telling Lisa I'm on my third cup of coffee.
I'm
so
not jealous.
I'm on my second, so
if only.
not too bad. Not too bad.
And I feel like this one is not big enough either. Like it should be this big.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Ember to come out with a mug like twice this size. That's what I need.
Yeah, I was looking at those. They're not very big.
But I will say, having come from Erin Condren mugs and being used to big mugs, the fact that it stays hot so long, it's the same experience. Like, you know what I mean? With like a big mug, you like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I drink it slower because
you can sip on it all day.
Yeah, and my coffee gets cold. Like I feel if I use like regular like K cups or whatever, like or regular coffee, it's fine. But if I use my Nespresso, like I recently got an espresso and I'm still like learning it, but I'm telling you, it gets cold really fast.
Yeah,
I think because it spins and so that puts that air, so it's like it's warm but it's not hot. And I drink kind of slow. So, I mean, I do sometimes, but
you need an Ember mug too. I want everybody to have one. It's one of the most stupid things I've bought, but the one I use the most. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, who spends that much money on a coffee cup? But like the amount I use this thing.
But like, have y'all ever used the ones where like you sit it on there? Like you're supposed to be able to like sit your
coaster thing.
The little coaster things?
Yeah. Not the same.
It would get your whole mug hot.
Yeah. The thing about those is that they're not that hot. Most of them don't fit all the different kinds of mugs. And if your mug has too thick of a bottom or the bottom isn't flat, it's not going to, it does okay, but it also heats.
It's not going to heat it.
Yeah, it doesn't, it sounds good, but it's way cheaper. So like maybe try that first, but like, because like, it's like literally like $12 to get one of those. This is not $12.
Yeah.
Or no,
because I look
coffee faster.
Yeah.
Drink it faster and get more.
I mean,
that's my solution.
I got one of these for Peggy. I just have two for myself now. I just rotate between them because she can't. She needs the big Erin Condren mug. She needs to be able to like chug that shit in the morning. Like she is a chugger, coffee chugger. It gets down to temperature and then it's gone. That's how she drinks her coffee. I am not, and so my coffee goes cold constantly because I'm a sipper. I'm a sipper, not a chugger.
Yeah.
I'm in between.
Now, once mine hits that right spot,
that's
usually when I guzzle it down.
Same.
But with the Nespresso, it's so fast that there's no way I can drink it in that amount of time. So
no. Oh my god, we're gonna be getting into some like meaty conversation up in here,
dude. I know. Okay, so guys, if you haven't seen this OcculTea hashtag for this VR, this was done by Ella Harrison, Joanna at the Polish folk witch, and then Leah at the redheaded witch. These are all posted on Instagram, all the questions and stuff. There are 4 topics. I tried to link everybody down below, and the questions and all that stuff.
Perfect.
So here's kind of how it's set up. So there are 4 topics: impact on community, influencer authenticity, imposter syndrome and FOMO, capitalizing off community, and then there's a conclusion at the end. So there are like 5 little categories to go through.
Yeah.
And so since there's a lot of questions on here,
There's a lot.
we figured we
talk.
figured the easiest way would probably be for us to each pick a question that we want to talk about from each topic. So in theory, maybe like 15. Now on the conclusion, they have some questions, and there's also a space where we can kind of like pick our own questions. So we'll kind of see where that leads. That's the plan, but we're all talking. So
We'll see.
Very much we'll see.
We might tangent rabbit hole.
Yeah. So we'll get through what we get. So just to set expectations, we are not answering all of these questions. We would be here all day. All day. Because these are some meaty questions, y'all.
They're substantial. They're not like, quick show a deck, walk away. Also,
no, and now these are kind of catered towards the more like the witchy side of YouTube and stuff like that. So we're gonna come at it from both sides, kind of. I mean, for some of us, we all do a little bit of witchery in our tarot and stuff like that. So hopefully we can get some good ones. Yeah. Y'all watch. Marlena was asking if we watched any of the VRs beforehand. I flipped through a few of them. And I flipped through the questions, but I kind of wanted to come at this kind of blind, because we have been talking about this since, when was it, last month before, whenever it came out. We had started talking about it. And I'm like, I don't want to influence my answers. So I usually stay away until I do it, and then I go and binge them.
Yep.
But y'all,
I watched them when they first came out. So I saw some really great conversations, but because I have the memory of a goldfish, I'm good. So like it's still like I'm starting from scratch. Like I could not tell you what anybody said in the answer. But I'm just gonna roll with it. Same thing.
Wow.
Yep.
Sorry, y'all.
I didn't watch any, and I didn't even look at the questions till this morning. So yeah.
Nice.
I was like, Dani, where are these questions?
It's not like hot takes. It's kind of like hot takes on.
It's
topics.
totally
like hot takes. Yeah, it's just. But I'm that kind of person. When I go to these questions and these VRs, I like to just go in gut reaction.
Yeah, it's more fun that way. It's also like it's really easy to overthink and like worry about what the right answer is, or like, you know what I mean? Like I'm an overthinker. It's better for me to not.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't want to have to like prepare, because then it doesn't feel authentic.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I know we're going to talk about authenticity, but like
reaction.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I like.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me pull up the prompts so I have them handy.
I know, that's what I'm doing right now. All right, so y'all ready to get started? Okay, so the first topic is impact on community. Who wants to go first?
I'm just looking at picking one. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. How I'll start.
Okay.
Let's look at, what am I looking to achieve by participating? Do I seek to educate, learn, or connect by being here? Yeah. So let's.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yes. All the above.
I was just gonna say. Yeah, everything. Like I don't think I would have been motivated to come onto social media in this way, like as on YouTube, if I didn't want to connect. I feel like that needed to be that was my motivating factor to come on. But now, gosh, I mean, learning, yes, constantly. I mean, as a viewer, that's what I'm doing, right? Like I consume the kind of content that even when I'm watching something simple like a deck walkthrough, I'm looking to gain a new perspective on that deck or on the way somebody else views the cards. Or if I watch other people read tarot, it's the same thing. I'm so curious how other people approach all their stuff. But I also like legit love to teach. I don't see my channel as a teaching channel, but I love to teach. I've always loved to teach. So like, I don't see myself as like an expert, but I just love talking about the shit I'm into in a way that is helpful for others. Does that make sense? So it doesn't.
You're so good at it too. You're so
You
good at it.
really are.
Like,
yeah.
you're amazing at breaking it down.
Thank you. But what it is for me though is like, I think for me it's less about feeling like I don't know, like I'm instructing, and more like I'm being of service. That's what I get. That's what I love. I love feeling like I'm being of service. I don't want to just show up and be like, as much as I want to enjoy what I do, I don't want it to be like just, I say that it needs to be for me first. So I don't want to contradict myself, but I'm trying to say, like, if it doesn't feel like it's useful, if it doesn't feel like it's serving anything or anyone, it doesn't feel good to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the punchline, I think.
Yeah. I feel like I just need to, like, it's like when I came on, yes, definitely looking to connect with like-minded people, you know, things like that. That was definitely my initial thing. I think that's what drew me there, because I was seeing the community. I was starting to participate in the community, because normally my YouTube, especially, I've always been like, I go to YouTube to like learn something or to be entertained, right? And a lot of times it was to learn something. And so that's where it started. And then I started interacting, and then I was like, I want to participate in this. Like, I feel like I do have stuff to say, or like I want stuff to say. I'm definitely here to learn when it comes to watching other people. But as far as educate, I don't know about educate, but more like, hey, this is what I'm doing. If this is beneficial, like, I just want to show, you know, like you said, be of service. And just share. Like, for me, this is a social outlet, you know? For me.
Where do you sit with it, Dawn?
I honestly, when I came into the community, I all I wanted to do was make beautiful videos. That was all I wanted to do. I wanted to make beautiful deck videos and beautiful walkthroughs, because I was coming in, like, I was still working as a designer and as a marketer at that time. And I was just like, oh, this is fun. Look at all these people and all these decks, and they're so beautiful. And I want to just showcase the art, and I know how to make a video. So I come in, I know how to do that.
I can do that.
Let me do that. And y'all know, when I don't know how to do it, I will learn anyway. But that was where it started. And then I realized that there was this community that was here, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. Look at all these people who are into the same thing I am. And for so many years, I had done tarot in a vacuum. Nobody else I knew read tarot, you know, shared tarot or anything like that. And then when I started coming into the community, I was like, well, I want to share what I do, because what I do is different. So it wasn't, I never went into it with the idea of I'm going to teach or I'm going to do anything. It was just like, hey, this is how I do my stuff. I like when you share how you do your stuff, because I learned things. And then, so here's how I do my things. And then we can share, and we can, you know, take pieces from each other's practice and stuff like that. Because I feel like there wasn't a ton of talk around actual practice.
And
so, and that's what I wanted to talk about.
That's a big thing. You know what it feels like to me? Our, like, whenever, maybe this is true in all the like little niche communities on YouTube, but I feel like ours feels like a collective brainstorm a lot of the time, even when we're just, people really rip on deck walkthroughs, or like, oh, just show and tells and stuff like that. And I get that. But at the same time, even those, and I'm gonna come back to that, because I feel like I've gotten so much value out of that, from that collective brainstorm energy. If I watch like 4 different walkthroughs of the same deck, and I hear this person picks up on this symbol and this person picks up on that symbol, and here's the story this person's telling about this card that I would have never thought of in a million years, and then here's this other person, it just feels like, we all get to be in this kind of brainstorm session together, even though we're not doing it all at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Like, we get to bounce ideas off of each other about the same stuff.
And I'm really glad that and I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because I don't know if it'll talk about it later or whatever, but like, I get caught in those things where it's like, sometimes I feel like I'm like, I don't have anything to say. I feel like I'm just showing decks. I feel like it's just this, am I doing a service? Are my opinions different from anybody else's? Is this just like garbage stuff? Like, you know, and I think that's one of those things that kind of goes through probably some of the other ones, because they're talking about imposter syndrome. And that's a huge part of it, where it's like, sometimes I feel like doing simple, basic things makes it feel like I don't have anything to say, or my stuff is not of value, even though I'm watching people saying the same things over and over and over again because I just want to hear their perspective on that.
Yes.
And I think I lose sight, and I think we all do. We lose sight that other people want to hear
our
perspectives, our perspectives. And it's like, oh.
I think that's a
thing. That comes out of my mouth all the time. With my members, I'm like, why are y'all listening to me? I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's the thing too that I think people that are new to YouTube videos, especially here on TerraTube, I hear this a lot from people. Why should I do this video walkthrough? It's already been done like a bunch of times, or like it can feel like there's no space for you, or that you have to keep up and do what everybody else is doing to be valid. And I think it's really important to remember that the reason that YouTube, even just generally as a platform, works is because so many people want to be exposed to different ways of looking at something they're interested in. They want to see all those different perspectives. It's like sitting in a crowded room, all of us talking about something we like or are excited about. Like there's going to be aha moments and perspective shifts to come out of that always.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I learn something new with every video I watch, but I also learn something new with every video I make because I never know what's going to come out of my mouth when I'm making a video.
Same.
So
I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I didn't realize I thought that, felt that.
Or right? You're just like, you're just kind of riffing with yourself. It's just like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Okay, let me see.
Krista just
Dawn, do you have one, or do you want me to go?
Let's see.
Okay, while you're looking, Krista just said, I love watching walkthroughs in halls, sometimes even just for the company. Yeah, that one.
Yes.
It's such a thing that I think we overlook. There are so many people that don't have access to other people to even talk about this topic, like whether it's witchy stuff or tarot stuff. And like just having a place to like feel like you can hang out with other people, you know, to listen. Yeah, that's a valuable thing that people do for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I love watching walkthroughs.
I absolutely agree. It's true. And we forget that. Everyone who creates, because everyone's perspective is different, no matter if we're talking about the same topic. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We got trash.
We could do the social, how do I think social platforms such as TikTok. Y'all know how I feel about TikTok. TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube have impacted education, sharing information. We could do that one.
Let's see.
Oh, I do have some feels here.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Oh God. Okay. So wait,
give us your feels.
First. Okay, so TikTok is the one that I noticed right away. Well, actually, all of them are different. So some thoughts. Each of these platforms are designed to keep viewers on their platform a different way, right? So YouTube is more, or at least historically has been, the long form content space. I know that's shifting and changing and whatever. Instagram has been the like visual space. And then TikTok is the give it to me quick space, you know, the like short form, like let's keep the dopamine hits coming, let's keep scrolling, clicking, being entertained. And all of these things are going to draw out different types of content that are going to highlight a particular style. And I guess what I'd say about that is that I feel like when TikTok started taking off, I started seeing on all social media a shift towards it's got to be faster, it's got to be quicker, it's got to be more entertaining, because on TikTok the pressure is to entertain, to keep it fast, to be almost shocking, or whatever's going to keep people watching you more than a second or two, because on TikTok it's so easy to just swipe right and keep flipping. So I think that changed things. I think people were feeling a lot of pressure to make short form content, like that was the only valid way to make content, and that drives, I think, a much I'm sure there's lots of substantial meaty content on TikTok, but I do think TikTok as a platform, just the nature of the short form content, drives a more superficial style of content. Because you can only go so deep if you've got 60 seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that. And Instagram kind of does the same thing, but with pictures, at least initially, although that's changed a lot. I think people put a lot of text in their posts and stuff. But Instagram, if your pictures aren't pretty, at least in the beginning, it was like that. If your pictures weren't pretty, people weren't reading. They weren't stopping. They weren't looking. So that drove a more aesthetic sort of approach to stuff. You know what I mean?
Saw Dani.
I'm getting so annoyed.
I just saw what you saw in your face. Just said it all. Yeah. I cannot figure out TikTok. It pisses me off, and I think it's because TikTok is not made for people who want to make a video from scratch with all their own stuff And so every time I post a video on TikTok, it like mutes it or bans it. And I'm like, what's up, TikTok? Why are you so mean to me? I'm about to just ditch your butt.
I know, right? I don't listen.
But yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with all of the platforms. You know what I mean? I think there are good parts and bad parts about everything. I feel like it's changed a lot of stuff. I do agree with Lisa. I feel like it's put a lot of pressure to either do like always have content, like so you always feel like you have to be producing 24 hours a day. You are constantly in the spotlight. People are constantly have their eyes on you. It's like to keep up with the Joneses, you have to post your content, right?
The pressure with all these social media platforms has been like, you feel like you have to be on everything.
Yes. And like, absolutely. And I feel like that's put a lot of pressure on people to show their practices and to, I think, look like they're constantly doing new things and stuff like that. So I do feel it does put pressure, especially when you are on social media, to like constantly be looking for something new, doing something new, showing all your stuff. And it's like, how can you really, I mean, we do really, you know, I mean, I feel like all three of us really do pay attention to our own practices and we do stuff for ourselves. But when you get to a certain point as an influencer or being on social media, when are you only doing it for your content and not for yourself anymore? So that's kind of where so like I'll go through waves where like I'll post a lot and then I'll kind of not. And then I'll start posting again because I want to make sure that I'm saying something of value and not posting just so you can see my face.
Yes.
Yeah.
And get shitty content.
The best thing I did was stop using Instagram as a tool. I started using it as a visual diary. Here's what I'm doing today. So my Instagram is a hot mess of stuff. Some days it's my dog, some days it's my game, some days it's tarot, some days it's whatever. And because Instagram to me started to feel like a job, and I already have enough of those on different platforms.
Yes.
So I took a break from Instagram, and when I came back, I deleted, this was a while ago, I deleted all my posts. I'm not a fan of that in general because I feel like when you do that, you're kind of like discounting the journey up until this point. But because I was going from basically a business account to a personal account, I felt that it was important to do that just so that me, for my own state of being, my own state of mind, knew that I can be personal here. I can have more fun. I mean, personal with boundaries, because that's really important with social media, but personal with boundaries. And that was so much more free. Now I post on Instagram when I feel like it. My YouTube runs on a schedule because I need it to keep my sanity, right? I have certain things that I need to do on a certain day, and I have certain, things that I want to get out, things that I want to share. And that stays on a schedule, which I just had to adjust because my life schedule changed. So my publishing schedule had to change. But for everything else I do on social media, I just let it be whatever I feel like sharing, because when you start adding in all of those platforms as a business avenue, it just adds so much more that doesn't need to be there in my experience.
It's very, very, very true. I feel like with Instagram specifically, I don't get the platform. I don't know if I'm just old or old school or something. It's probably just because I like to talk so much, but Instagram I don't get. I've never really gotten it. I don't spend a ton of time there. So the only thing I really do there is visual.
I love it.
I just post my shit that I'm doing. I share posts about my content. Like that's literally all I do. And then I use my stories to occasionally share personal stuff and like sometimes business stuff. But like I don't go there. I don't go to Instagram and hang out. I miss a lot of things because I don't hang out on Instagram. But it's a platform, kind of like Instagram and TikTok. I find if I go to those platforms just to like consume content, I feel like I get in that zone where I'm kind of checked out and just scrolling. And I don't feel like when I go on YouTube, I can like watch and listen and absorb information. But for whatever reason with my brain, Instagram and TikTok, I go there and it doesn't stick. It doesn't sink in the same way. So
I'll be honest, moving from Facebook for my groups to Discord was huge for that, because I'm like slowly moving completely off of Facebook as a platform, except for my friends who refuse to move into Discord. We still have to message them on Facebook. But anyway, the whole, once I took my group out of Facebook, where there's this tendency for me to scroll, and Facebook was showing me stuff that I wasn't interested in, and now we're in Discord, and I go, and it is just a conversation with me and my members, and there's no distraction there. There's no other things to scroll. There's no other things to get lost in, and it really changed the dynamic of the group. I know not everybody is like, when we made the switch, not everybody's on board with Discord, and that's totally cool. I get that. But not everybody was on board with Facebook either. So you're
never going to please everybody. You can't.
But it was such an interesting switch, because the conversations between individuals and between the group as a whole started getting deeper. They started getting more lengthy, because you're not distracted by all the other scrolly stuff on the platform. It's like creating your own little platform for your own little group. It's really cool. And I would lose so much time just scrolling. It's why I kind of like refuse to do the TikTok thing, because I will, like, I've played with it. It pissed me off. I got mad at it. And
you got so mad at it.
I was so mad. I was like messaging, so pissed at TikTok. Oh my God. And then I was like, I'm going to beat that platform. And it won. It beat me. I was like, no, back to YouTube. I'm done.
You know what? The Discord thing, I will say, as much as I'm hesitant, because I've already got like big established groups on Facebook, but the thing is, you are absolutely right about the conversation. The thing that doesn't seem to happen, it doesn't foster, Facebook groups don't have the same layout that fosters these really back and forth conversations.
Not intimate.
It's not intimate. Yeah, Discord does feel much more intimate. I feel like if I did Discord, I'd have to add it to what I'm doing though. That's what I'm struggling with, because I feel like if I did that, I'd have to
that's why I'm taking the Facebook out and replacing it with the Discord, because I was in the same way. I can't add another. I can't. I don't have the time. I don't have the space.
See, and I don't understand Discord enough. I've used it maybe once. You know what I mean? And so
I will send you. So my kid made a how to use Discord for old people video for us. I will send it to you.
Have I not seen it? I must not have seen it.
I don't know. I can share it with you, because it is Ash and I sitting down, and Ash walking me through how to use Discord.
That's so
funny. It's fantastic. And I posted it for my members, because I'm like, here you go. Here's Ash
that completely. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's super cute. Because the first time I got on Discord, I was like, oh no, I don't know. Like, I'm too old for this. It's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Especially if you're coming into an established server where there's just tons of threads, and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. See, like, I've even tried like looking at Reddit, and I'm like,
Reddit,
everything just seems so fast and so like crazy. I'm just,
Reddit's not a great place to hang out.
No. Well, depends on what you're looking for.
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
I may have an OnlyFans Reddit tab pinned on my browser at all time.
I mean, I was gonna say the OnlyFans. I mean,
have you heard about that, Dani? Dani almost spitting out her coffee.
I'm going to assume that I know what's on that Reddit page.
Lisa was like, look at this. Look what I found. I was like, oh, nice.
So it's literally a pinned tab on my browser at all times.
That's amazing. I haven't pinned it yet, but I should do that. That's amazing.
Okay. Oh my God. Yeah, so there's a lot of calls in the chat for you to share the Discord for old people video.
Oh yeah, you gotta share it.
I will make a note. Discord for old people. I will share it.
I might have to try. I mean, I could in theory move my membership there if enough people in my membership were on board.
You know, the thing is too, my camera's freaking out. It integrates with your YouTube membership, so you don't have to do anything, which is amazing.
I know that's actually a huge selling point, because that's a lot of management.
It's a huge selling point, because Facebook with a membership is ridiculous, because you have to manage it manually.
Yeah.
I have nothing like. I don't know. I'm like, I don't have that much to say. I just post dumb shit. You know what I mean? Like, in my Facebook group, I'm like, I post dumb shit, or I post stuff that I've made, like, here, you can go get the download, where they can get like 20 other places. Like, I just post dumb shit. It's just a place where if you have a question or you want to share something, you can just put it up there. Like, there's no big hoopla.
It's no big deal. I know mine's a pretty chill place. too in that way. Like we don't have a ton of stuff, but we also have like our book club and stuff, but I post those things on YouTube also. So it's not, my thing is that not everybody's on any social media platform. So for my membership, because it's a YouTube thing, I just try to make sure as much as like stuff, everything is on YouTube first, and then everything else is just bonus.
That's what I do too. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Is it me? Do I need to ask one now?
Oh yeah. It's
okay. Ooh, okay. So is consuming, well, this will say witchcraft content or tarot content becoming a substitute for practice? I knew I had saw this, like how we were just talking about this. So what do y'all think about that? Do you think it has kind of taken over sometimes with your practice? This has sort of been a substitution?
Not for me, because I don't watch much content. I just don't have time. I like, my watch list is forever long. I have very, very little watch time. So I'm really, really picky about what I watch. So not at all for me.
No. Was it ever previously, like before you got into creating it?
I don't,
like, because I think that's two different things, you know?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I would watch things. I think what I did before I started creating content was that a lot of times I would see people do things and then I would do it. So it wasn't a substitute, it added to my practice, because it gave me new things to try, new ways to do things. And I think that was really cool. But I don't think I ever used it as like a substitute for any one particular thing that I did.
Yeah, I would say exactly the same thing. Like for me, I often consume content when I wouldn't be practicing. So I often watch my tarot tube videos while I'm working, like at my muggle job. I watch my tarot videos when I'm doing chores. I watch my tarot videos when I'm relaxing at the end of the day. But those times and those places don't overlap with my practice times and places. Because if I'm sitting down to practice, I'm not consuming, like, to me, they're just totally in different boxes in my life. But like Dawn said, I'm very much the type where I can think of very significant things that I have consumed on social media that has added to my practice, that has enhanced my practice, that has gotten me through slumps in my practice. I mean, shout out to Lionhearts, whose tarot challenges really gave me something to grip onto in a daily way that was not boring.
Yes, Emerald Lotus is another one, I think, that has all the
great spreads.
Great spreads.
In memberships, like in Dawn's membership now, doing the freaking fellowship thing and like having like a gamified way to like engage with my cards. And there's all these different things that I would have never experienced if I wasn't consuming content. So for me, if anything, it's enhanced, added to, helped me be more consistent with my practices, helped me stay inspired about my practice, kept me thinking creatively about my practice. Like I feel like it's added so much more than it could have ever taken away. I think where it would be problematic is if I felt as a content creator specifically, like if I was doing tarot, I needed to be filming it. That is, I think, a trap you could potentially fall into.
I think that's another question too.
Yeah. Is it another question?
I think it might be on the next page, on the next
I can zip it. But like, that's
no, it's right. I was just saying.
We just
clearly it's a topic of interest. Yeah.
Because I think it's really easy to get sucked into that trap of like there's even a joke that goes around. There's like a song. It's like, everything is content, make sure you film it or whatever. Like there's like a little single. And it's like, no, not everything in my life is not content at all. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've hesitated to get very deep into practice videos. I do some. But I like to think about my YouTube place as a place to share what I'm excited about, to share what I'm enjoying using in my practice. And then in my membership, I do share specifically my envelope practices and some spell work I'll share in my membership and things like that. But for the most part, I try to keep my practices for me and like share about that or talk about it, but not like make it. But definitely enhanced. See, I can't. It's a Gemini, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't shut up.
That's why we're here. Okay. I think for me, like there was a time, I'm not going to lie, probably very early on, especially watching this, not so much my tarot, but sometimes the witchery stuff. Sometimes I would get really bogged down in like just watching and consuming all this content, but I wasn't doing much. It had that like whatever. So I think it was easier for me to get there where I felt like I was still getting, like it still felt pretty magical to watch somebody else doing it. where I would take notes, but I wasn't doing it as much when I was consuming that kind of content. But I find once I kind of pulled back on that, I started to expand where I was. But I think that was also a time and a space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're in like, sometimes we're in that kind of like slump or whatever. And we but it is helpful sometimes to stay connected when you don't feel it yourself, to stay connected by consuming. That can take you through that period where you're not feeling it, but you don't want to be completely disconnected from it. Like, I don't want to just go watch like freaking random Netflix for the next 2 months because I'm feeling a slump in my practice. I still want to stay connected somehow. And I feel like sometimes it fills that gap.
I absolutely agree. And that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes we're just in that state, but I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like at that time, it's like I was practicing a lot before. The time that I'm talking about was very much a slump. It was like right before I got into the tarot tube side of it, like more deep into tarot tube. And so it was like a time where I was slumped. Like I didn't feel like, I don't know, like I didn't feel like I could do it at that moment. You know, I was stretched thin, but it was a way to kind of keep it in the background. And so it kind of made it feel like it was a substitute for my practice when I couldn't do it or didn't have the capacity to do it.
Yeah,
I was able to see it. And, you know, there's sometimes even in tarot where I'm having a day where like, I don't necessarily feel like grabbing my stuff. So like y'all said, it's like an enhancement. I can watch somebody else. I can get that creativity out. I can listen to somebody else talk about it. And that might get me excited again about decks that I have or practices that I'm doing. Like I do find that it enhances. And I think if I didn't have it, my slumps would be bigger.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree.
I think it's also a way to connect because like sometimes when I don't feel like doing tarot, and it's not necessarily that I even really want to watch somebody doing tarot, but I want to watch somebody I like doing tarot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's this other part of it that is like watching people who I know that either do something similar to the way that I do or do something completely opposite to the way that I do.
Yeah.
That I find very helpful, particularly when I'm like in slumps. Like it'll give me a new idea or a new perspective or kind of remind me why I do it in the first place.
Yes.
I think that's an important part of it too, because I will watch, you know, somebody do a reading or whatever, and I'm not feeling real called to be doing readings right now, but I'll watch them do it. And it's like, oh yeah, that's why I do this, because I watch them go through the process. I watch them, you know, have the experience with it. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. And it will sometimes rekindle the experience for me. It's not a replacement for my experience. It's just a way to reconnect with something that I've maybe disconnected from.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's also like that. Like I just had a thought and I think it just flew out my head. There's something you just said that I was like, oh yeah, that. Just reminding yourself why it matters to you, why it's important to you. Sometimes it's that reminder that like you don't have to do things. Sometimes we get into ruts and we don't see the rut we're in. And sometimes seeing other people's content, either because something that they're doing reminds us that, oh, they're doing that in that way. I don't have to like, I'm not feeling this way right now. So maybe I can try it a different way, even if it's not that person's way. Did any of that make sense out of my head?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Matter of fact, it was Dawn. I watched one of, I think I even commented, this was y'all ages ago. I was watching you do something on one of your journals and stuff. And I was like, there are some things that you were doing. I was like, I've never given myself permission to just like tear something up like that.
And shit down, tear stuff up.
Like, and I'm a person who literally has paper shards all over the place all the time. Like I be tearing stuff up, but like, it was something that you had did. Oh, it was like a pre-made journal and you were just like, boop, boop, and like took it out. And I was like,
oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm like pulling out, you know, I get like some old crappy ones and I just like, you know, take my papers out, whatever. And I'm like, you could use whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Anything. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like little things like that, where it's like just seeing someone else create something, even if you don't do it the exact same way, even if you don't read tarot the exact same way or have your practice the exact same way. It's like sometimes seeing someone do something else will give you you permission to do something or just like, oh, I would never do it that way, but how would I do it? And then like kind of figure out a way for yourself. So yeah, I just think all around it has its problems, but I think it's beneficial in the long run because we're connected to people who we would never have been connected to before.
Totally. Totally. Yep. Good stuff.
So what's the next topic?
The next topic is influencer authenticity. I have so many feels about this. I didn't write the questions and I already have feelings.
Okay, well, you go first.
I have feels about this one too.
Oh my God. Okay, me go first? Okay.
Yeah, go first.
Oh, what are the questions? Do I think there's an element of censorship online places? Okay, have I ever encountered? Okay, so I'm just going to read out loud now. Okay, hold on. Okay. How this is a good one to talk about. How does a large following impact the perception of the creator? Does this immediately make them an expert, or are there other assumptions as to why they have a large following? Yo, like
we have feels.
We all got feels about this one.
We have feels about this one.
I feel as though, at least in our space, something that I feel like, and I could have been, this could be my own insecurities. I will totally own my shit. But like, I feel like it's entirely a thing that I've seen more than once where there seems to be a conflation between a large following and inauthenticity. Like automatically, if you have a large following, you're not deep. You're like, it's almost like it, regardless of the expert piece, which is a whole other piece, but like, it's this almost perception that if you're big, you must be like, I don't know, catering to people, or you must be pandering, or you must be like,
there's a gimmick.
Have dumb luck.
There's a gimmick.
Yeah, it's literally sheer fucking dumb luck. That's exactly.
It's dumb luck. It's really all it is.
If I could shout it from the rooftops, I'd be like, yo, I would be doing exactly the same thing right now if I had 100 subscribers or if I have 100,000. It literally, that's, we're just doing what we want to do. And some people happen to resonate and it just happens. But like, we are, none of us in the tarot community, and we say this all the time, but I know it's relative. It's just that we're only like considered large creators by comparison in a very tiny little pond.
Very tiny pool.
In such a little bitty pond.
So small. So it's like, okay, but like it literally is luck. I could not tell you how to get, I have no idea. I just do my thing, and who stays, who goes. And like, we have no control over that. But as far as like it making you an expert, absolutely freaking not. Anybody with a personality or a voice people like can end up with hundreds of thousands of subscribers. It has nothing to do with their knowledge or expertise. There's nothing that validates my tarot knowledge because I have a lot of subscribers. Like that doesn't say anything about, well, okay, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but I'm just saying it's not proof. You know what I mean? It's definitely, that's a very good point.
Tammy, that's a very good point. Like I'll be honest, I have a publishing schedule. I have always had a publishing schedule. I know how to build someone's presence. It's what I got paid to do for a living. Now, did I set out to do that for myself? No. I was just, all I did was do it because I had clients and I had to squeeze myself in somewhere if I wanted to actually have any sort of time. So when I started my channel, I treated myself and my channel like a client, and I just shoved it in the midst of all my other client stuff. So there is, like we say, dumb luck, but I think the dumb luck piece is that it's kind of dumb luck that what you're actually saying resonates. Because you can play the algorithm game. You can have a huge channel and be providing absolutely nothing of substance. We see it all the time.
Absolutely.
So the dumb luck piece is that we're up here with no clue what we're talking about most of the time. We're just like, hey, this is what I do. And like the fact that it resonates with people, that's the dumb luck.
That's the dumb luck part.
Yeah,
that's the dumb luck piece. Yeah.
But you're right, Tammy Pie. Like when you're in anything that you're trying to do, if consistency, showing up, being of service, to me, these are the things that have grown my channel. If I think of the things I've done to grow my channel, it would be showing up regularly, being myself, and like being consistent and trying to be of service. Those are the things I feel like have actually, that I've had control over, that have grown my channel. But at the end of the day, like when Dawn mentions the algorithm game, like it's so true and it's so icky. It's such an icky feeling to try to chase an algorithm. Like that dehumanizes us. That doesn't make us
dehumanizes us completely.
Yeah.
And it makes us like, it's like, it's so superficial. It's so on top. If you ask me what any of my analytics are, I could not tell you a single thing.
Nope. No clue.
Yeah.
Not a clue.
And thank God YouTube took it off. It used to be right when you first went into studio, you could see all of your numbers. And now you have to click the analytics to see it, which is beautiful because I hated having my numbers in my face all the time. It just drove me crazy. it feels toxic because it feels like you're trying to please a machine, and that's gross. Like I can't with that. I don't have the energy for that. I don't have the interest in doing that. And it's an impossible thing to do anyways because it changes constantly. So like there's no point.
It changes constantly. And what the algorithm wants changes on a daily basis. Like that's the thing I always tell people. Do not look at your numbers. Just don't. Like I look at my numbers once a month, and I have a once a month tracking, and that is it. And it's not even tracking. I'm just making a note because I don't really care if it goes up or down. As long as the people that I want to connect with are still connecting, then that's all that really matters.
Yeah. Safi just asked for a new creator. Would you recommend not checking? Yes.
Don't check your analytics. It's so heartbreaking when you start too.
True. When you're starting and you see like you gain 1 subscriber and you lose 3, you're like, what did I do wrong? And like nothing.
And it's
nothing.
And it's nothing. It's nothing. Yeah. It's
nothing.
You
also have to understand there's so many different like reasons for that. People stumble upon shit. People like there's so much trash.
Yes.
And algorithms and stuff like that. And it's like there is a huge difference too, though, from someone coming up, and I'm sure like this is a whole tangent, but I just wanted to like say the thing. But like some people come at YouTube and social media strictly to become an influencer.
Oh, that's a question on here.
Is it okay? Hold on.
Isn't that what a grifter is? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not a grifter.
I thought a grifter was like a
oh, maybe that's on the next tab.
That's like somebody who's trying to scam people.
Like the scammers.
Okay, carry on.
Okay, yeah.
I love where you're going with it. That there's people that come just to get big, basically.
Yeah, they're just trying to capitalize on the situation. But it's like, here's the thing. You can do that in really big places. You know?
Like tech or something. Tech or
tech or makeup or, you know, like big, like you can go big. Even in witchcraft, though, like I find that in general is such a bigger, like you have hundreds of thousands of followers and you know, this, that, and the other. It's a wider range, but like tarot is not that. Like, I'm sorry.
Y'all, you can also buy subscribers.
You can.
That's a thing people do.
The amount of emails I get or like Instagram DMs, we can for this amount of money, we'll give you this many followers, this many subscribers. I'm like,
so you can't base it off of subscriber numbers. You can't look at a channel and really say, oh, you have so many X amount of subscribers. And unless you really know that person, you've watched their content, you can't really say
if you can tell. But people see numbers and they automatically assume, this person is whatever. It's like, baby, I have like, I don't even know. It's 9,000. Well, I don't even know how many subscribers I have right now. But I know it was close to around 9, whatever. I'm like, there are people with 9 million. Like, who am I?
We're like nothing.
And even with the person that has 9 million, they're probably making fart jokes. Like, let's be real. Like, what does that prove? Like, numbers prove nothing. And I really want to say that, you know, even as someone who has into the thousands, like, y'all, it wasn't long ago I was in the hundreds. So it doesn't, I'm still that same person. I'm not more of an expert than I was before. You know what I mean? Like, just more people were like, who is this crazy bitch? So that's all.
Yeah, like, we love our crazy bitch. We love her.
That's it. Absolutely. That's what we do.
Yeah. But that's the thing, I think, like, just in general, is you do have to, like, as a consumer of content, be aware that lots and lots of subscribers does not in any way mean that person knows what they're talking about. And you really, I think on social media, just like in real life, it's so important to trust your gut. If you're watching somebody and they don't feel real, or they don't feel like, I don't know, if I watch anybody and they try to tell me how things should be, I'm out like lightning. Like, I'm just get me out of there. Like, that's the thing to look out for, is just in general, I think, is creators who try to tell you that like their way is the one true way. Right. Like I can't with that.
I love watching people who are like super confident and like, this is how you do this. Like, you could probably go back on mine. It's like, I'm pretty sure I contradict myself on everything. Be like, this is how I do it. You can do it however way you want it. This is how I do it. Like,
this is how I
will yell from the rooftops. Like, watch at your own risk. I am not an expert for anybody but myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even then, I'm like, I've never done this before. Let's do this together.
Yeah.
We're going to see how it goes. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Clout does not equal expert.
No.
In any way, form to me.
Followers don't equal. I'm going to use one of Lisa's terms that we had. We are not Netflix.
We are not Netflix.
Thank you.
We are not Netflix.
No.
All the content creators you watch, you don't like. We're people.
We're people.
We have lives. We have feelings. Oh my goodness. We have feelings.
That is something that happens when you have lots of subscribers. People stop treating you as human, as a person when you were little.
As a person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They start treating you as a content machine.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't want to see this or I want to see this. And it's like, yo, like you realize that I have like a family. I got dogs and stuff. Like you're talking to a dog mom. Right now, like you crazy.
I have interest outside of this one little snippet of things you see from my life.
Nothing.
And like I have no director.
Nothing dehumanizes me faster or makes me feel like quitting YouTube more than when somebody tries to tell me that I'm not in my lane in some way, in any way,
in any way.
This is
my life. Not be in your lane. It's your channel.
It's your channel, your life, your interest.
It's all my lane.
It's all me. That's exactly the thing. And I think, I do think that is one risk you have when you niche your content. Just to rabbit hole us for a second. If you niche your content, like people do have feelings when you step outside of what they're expecting from you. And I think that if I could change one thing about content creation culture or being on social media, it would be that we remember that no matter what part of my life I share here, that's just one piece of the pie. And I shouldn't, I clearly have feelings about this, but like, it's just, I don't like feeling like I have to show up a certain way to be accepted, because the whole reason I'm on YouTube, the whole reason I find this space fulfilling is because I can show up exactly as I am and be accepted. That is the gift that YouTube gave me. And it was huge for me, huge. So like, if I start like feeling the opposite, that like I have to show up a certain way, or I'm not people don't want me to show up just outside of how they expect me, then I will close my channel down. I'll be done. I'll step off. I'm not doing that.
Also, like viewers always have the option to not watch, right? If you don't, just don't watch. If you're not interested in that piece of content that I'm creating, that one video out of the 500 videos I've made, if that one video isn't your cup of tea, man, just don't watch that one. It's okay.
Well, you see, and like I do, like I'll see that because I talk about books, and I'll talk about witchcraft. And I talk about tarot. And I talk about journaling. Like, but I'm not going somewhere else because everything is tied together to me. Sometimes the books I read tie into the projects that I'm doing, or the tarot goes into the journals that I'm making. Like, this is who I am. It's not called,
it's all rooted into you.
Dani only does tarot. It's like, no, it's called Dani Mystic because I do all the damn things, man. You know,
I changed my channel name from tarot because I was like, I didn't want to feel like that's the only thing I'm allowed to do. And nobody made me feel like that when I changed my name. I changed my name because I didn't want to make myself feel that way. Like I had to only make content that was one note, or like I wasn't going to be allowed, like, because I do compartmentalize in my brain. I do. It's hard for me to remember that I don't have to stay in my lane. So for me, that's a big thing.
That's where I'm at too. I just started a different channel. I was like, okay, I'm going to keep this in this lane. And then I'm going to take this other channel and I'm going to do whatever I feel like doing. It was journaling for a while. It was planning for a while. Now it's Lisa and I streaming our game. Like it's whatever floats my boat at the moment.
And you see, for me, like,
oh my God, Krista's comment, Dani, you have to see it.
Oh my God. Is this it?
I do what I want. Yeah.
The amount of times I say that in my videos, sometimes I'm like, I'm going to just do my channel and I do what I want here. And I'll do that.
It's my sandbox.
Because I like remind myself, like, oh yeah, I can do what I want here. It's fine.
It's so true.
It's so
Everybody can go create their own sandbox on YouTube. Make your own sandbox. This one's mine. I'm gonna play in it how I want. If you want to come play with me, you are more than welcome.
But or if you want to watch 2 videos and then peace out,
go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you know, like I wish I had I've always thought like maybe I should do a separate one. Like you know, like I love the idea that you have yours and you just kind of do whatever. But then I'm like, but I want these friends.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
but these are my friends. So that's why when I started, it was mostly tarot, and then I was like, oh no, I just got to do whatever I want and like stop. Here's the thing. I don't know what it is about myself, but the minute I start creating rules and boxes and like agendas, I will immediately, fingers up, I'm done. I will do it to myself every time. If I start putting myself in a box, I will immediately get out of it.
Oh, I legit thought you were going somewhere else entirely. I was like, I am legitimately the opposite. If I make boxes, I will stick myself in them and never jump out, ever. I'm exactly the opposite. The minute there's a rule set, that's it. I'm done. I'm in it. That works for me when I'm doing projects, meeting deadlines, trying to make things happen. But it works against me when it comes to like not holding myself back and not like restraining myself from what I actually want to do. So y'all just know that when I'm sharing anything that seems like different or out of the box, like that's an effort for me in a way, because I'm so scared all the time of like, but YouTube has helped me with self-acceptance. Not so yeah, I lean into that. I try to lean into that, but it's not easy all the time for sure to just show up and hope that
I wish I like there are some ways I wish I was more like that. Like I could set myself rules and just like do it. If I set myself a schedule, guaranteed I will not do something.
you're like, oh, I'm supposed to do this at noon. I will do anything but. Because it's your rebel. It's your rebellious nature, right?
It is. It's like this little spark that just wants to like light that flame. It's like 16-year-old Dani just won't shut up. She's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Like, I love that.
Shut up and do it. You're an adult.
Yeah.
I would say I don't want to do my homework today.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I'll do it later. But
I don't want to do
also the one that like I didn't study much. Like I knew when I had to and when I didn't. So I didn't.
I binge studied. There's a test tomorrow. I'll study today. No. Never the rest of the time.
I'm not going to study unless I feel like I might need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mostly flew by the seat of my pants in school. You would not know that by how I behaved today. But like for real, I was like, B- is fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
How I show up now is how I've always showed up. Where I'm just like, oh, I didn't read it, but we're just going to do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So on brand. I love it so much.
I am. And it's like, you know, I've thought about it for a long time and I'm like, oh no, I am like that. Like I've always been like that. And I've never noticed that about myself until now. I'm like, I've been like this for 40 years and never really knew it. I never thought of myself as rebellious ever.
Yeah.
But then when I really start breaking down what I do and like how I do, I'm like, oh, because I don't see it as rebellion. I just see it as like, oh, I'm not doing that.
I was just gonna say, if you're ever curious about yourself, just like, you know, look at your daughter. Look at that fire. That'll tell you so much.
Yep.
Just killed Dani.
No, the next few years, y'all gonna have to send help.
We're here for you. We're gonna need to give you lots of wine or cocktails and keep you sane. It's gonna be okay.
You will survive it. We all do.
Yeah.
You just wonder from time to time, like, how did I make that? What is going on? Why?
Yeah.
Is this payback for everything I did when I was a teenager? Because this is what it feels like.
Guaranteed.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
That's what scares me.
Yeah.
That's what scares me.
My youngest is 20 now, and still I'm like, we're still doing this, huh? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Mine are out the house. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
I've only got one left at home, but one and then their partner, but
yeah.
So 2 kids at home.
2 kids at home.
Only one's mine.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
What? Yes, somebody else got to ask a question now.
Oh yeah. Who's next? Dawn, are you going?
I feel like we moved into that first one.
Yeah, we did. Stage versus
what
reality.
I share, stage versus reality.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah. There you go.
We could go a little deeper with that.
Let's go a little deeper with that. Yeah.
That'd be a good one to talk about a little bit. Yeah.
Do y'all stage anything really?
What
aside from like your background?
My table is staged, but everything I do is just it's whatever it is. It's like it just comes out of my mouth. I have no clue what I'm doing.
I'm pretty sure, like legitimately, the only time I've staged anything is when you helped me, Dawn. I think you helped me. Yeah, you helped me put together a video for my, what series was that? My Walking the Self-Worth Path series.
Yeah.
And then like I actually planned stuff,
but
and
that was a thing, and it was related to a particular to a particular thing. But
and I'm gonna have to do that soon for my Kickstarter video, and that's probably it for me. I'm like, first of all, that's too much fucking work. I do not want to have to like 9 times out of 10, like it's this blue, I can't show you, but you know that blue background that you guys see with the like the sun and moons on it, like that's the quilt that lives, that's my tarot quilt that lives on my table. And you can always tell when I am not feeling the setup, because that's all that you're going to see is that and whatever I'm throwing on the table. Maybe a candle if you're real lucky. Maybe a candle. Most of the time there's a candle, I guess. Yeah, I don't. This is not how I roll. I'm quick and dirty with everything. None of my stuff is pretty. My journals aren't pretty. My nothing's pretty.
I live for the aesthetic though, but that's my designer brain, and that's my training. Yeah. That's part of my practice. Making it pretty is part of my practice.
I don't stage. You don't even.
I do it for myself. I did it when nobody was watching.
That's what I was gonna say. We'll be like gliding or whatever, and she's like putting stickers in her page. That's just how you roll. That is your practice.
That's just how I spend my time.
That's how I do too. Yeah. My junk journals and stuff and all that stuff. Like I do those whether I show them or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it's those kind of things. Now, I will say it is rare that I do not literally come in here and just turn on the camera and whatever sticks. Like, I'm going to be honest. That's what I do. I might go in and be like, oh, I'm going to show this deck, or, oh, I want to do this. But now there are some things where like, I feel like you kind of have to in a way, or like, there was a time where I was like, oh, it would be really cute if I did this. And so I'll set my camera up, or like, where one time I put it inside my tarot cabinet. And so I was able to walk open and like kind of open the tarot cabinet.
But that's a creative exploration of video making.
Yeah.
Because I did like that too. Yeah.
I guess that's the thing. Nothing I do is ever really like scripted. I might have an outline. Look, this is what my outline looks like. That's it.
Yeah.
You can barely even read it.
Yeah.
Because it's just single words. Then I'm just like, oh, I just want to make sure that I don't forget this, or I don't forget this. Right. That's about as safe as you're gonna get. Bullet points,
especially in the beginning when I was trying to do, like when I did my tarot memoir series, I would always have bullet points like, okay, I'm going to talk about like this, then this, then this, so that I could have structure for the video. But like, to me, staging is like, I'm going to make stuff look like it doesn't look normally. Like, that's what makes it staging to me. Like if you normally like to put pretty things out on your altar and crystals and herbs and all this kind of stuff, and then I like lay out your cards in a beautiful setting, then that's not staging. That's just how you like to do your stuff.
Right.
Like,
that's what I'm, hello. That's what I'm trying to show you guys. Like this is what it always looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like mine behind me too. I don't even know which way to go.
What you get.
That's just my space.
Yeah, mine's
like walking around my house. Yeah, my house looks just like my room does, right? My whole house looks like this because this is what I like.
If my whole house looked like this, Jacob would literally have a stroke.
Yeah.
He comes in here and he's like, he can't handle my chaos. He cannot.
Yeah. I think there's also a difference between stage versus production value, y'all. There's a big difference.
Oh, I do agree.
Yeah, totally.
Production value means that I've got a video that you can see what I'm showing. You've got lighting that is good enough that you can see the details of what I'm showing or whatever. Yeah. If you edit your videos, you're editing it. Most of the time, if you're editing it for flow, right? You're editing it to make it a nice viewing experience.
Or if you sneeze weird.
Thing, you sneeze, you cough, somebody comes in. I can't tell how many times I've had to edit a video where a kid has popped in and been like telling me this really personal thing while I'm recording a video that I'm like, okay, well now I gotta cut that out because like the rest of the doesn't need to see that. But I think there's this big difference between we see stuff that's beautiful, we see stuff that the production value is high, and we assume it's staged and inauthentic, and that is not true because for some people that is just how they express themselves creatively. Yeah. For me, making a video is a creative effort.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It's art. It's a piece of art. Every video I make is a piece of art.
Yeah. So you like it to be pretty. And like, I also, I have to point this out because this is too real. Bohemian Rose Tarot says I put baubles on my table so I stay in frame. LOL, that's all.
That's
I do that too.
That's a thing. Yes.
The reason we put stuff like up in the corners and shit is because you always know where the edges of what's in your camera is. That's like that's something from like way back when and now I do it without thinking. But like even Peggy, I was watching her set up for a video because she doesn't do videos a lot. But I was watching her set up for a video when she was doing tarot or whatever, and she literally had like laid crystals in very strategic spots. I'm like, oh my god, I remember that, because like if you don't, you forget where everything is. So a lot of people actually legitimately do it for that reason.
For that reason, yes.
But they want it to be cute, so they do it cute. You know, you could put pieces of paper there or like mark it with chalk or something, but that's not cute. So we make it
Matter of fact, I have I keep my stones there because I use them, but they're always in the same spot because I know that's where my camera goes.
Yes.
You know?
Hilarious. Love it.
So I like a good plan. I like a good aesthetic, but like, I don't know. I just don't feel like that would be considered like staged. Like, but don't come at me with a script and then like reading lines off of.
No, it's funny. I've been making videos for however long. I've got to make a video for this damn campaign. And I asked Dawn, I was like, I'm super stressed about it because I'm like, I don't even know how to do that. Like, how do I
We're going to storyboard it so that it's not overwhelming. But that's a different thing because we are, that's a product thing. We have to make a product thing. That's not a video in the normal sense.
Yeah.
And you know, I guess the craziest part is like I went to school for performing arts. Like I was the theater kid. Like I did prose poetry. So I was taught how to read and flow and, you know, do the whole like look down and up. And, you know, like there's a whole performance to it. And so like even mentioning that, like I don't talk about it in an extreme amount because like I also don't want people to think like, oh, well, Dani's done acting since she was young. So she's just coming on here and pretending to be this person where it's like, no, the only thing that it's good for is the fact that I'm not scared to speak.
Yeah.
Like I'm not scared to talk or to be silly or to make stuff like I'm going to do those things.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it has the confidence and just like, oh, you can speak and be heard.
Yeah.
That's not it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not over here like, today, good people.
I formally request one of those someday.
I mean, that would be fun.
What? Oh, a really theatrical,
big production, a Dani production.
I'm gonna need a production from you. Are you writing that shit down? That makes me so damn happy. Yes, please. Yes, please. Oh my word!
That's awesome.
I adore you with everything.
I'm getting costumes and everything because, like, listen,
girl, bring it.
If you don't have a whole new look, then how do you become a whole new person? You
Hashtag theatrical tarot, Dani.
Boom! We're gonna do that. That's gonna be fun.
Do it. That's awesome.
I am here for it. Wait, where were we?
Oh my god, I don't even know. Oh, okay, wait. Okay, so we were talking about that. Okay, so let me grab one. Let's see. I think we kind of talked about like maintaining authenticity and content creation. That was the whole.
Just be you. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like you are the only one that can offer that from your perspective. So that is what authenticity is. You be you because you're the only one who can do that, which is what makes all of these different channels so interesting and so valid because everybody is coming at it from their own perspective and they're the only one that can do that. It doesn't mean it has to resonate with everybody.
Yeah.
But you're the only one who can be you. So like, that's what you do.
The thing is like
that's what we all do. We show up when we're just us.
Yeah. And like you don't need to feel pressured to always be right. Like we all say, all three of us are always like, this is how I do it. That doesn't mean what you do is right or wrong or whatever. It just means that this is how we do it. You can do it whatever way you want. It's just about sharing ideas. And like, I don't know, people just put too much, like I said, like look to people as like authorities just because they have XYZ. Like, I'm sorry, some of the celebrities out there are dumb as rocks and they're still making millions of dollars. And not a one thing they're gonna say. There's a man in the NFL that doesn't believe that the stars are real. So like, do we really want to trust celebrities?
No.
Doesn't believe that the stars are real.
No, who doesn't believe that planet? There are no other planets. That's not true.
And the Earth is still flat, you know.
Yeah.
I can't with that.
So listen, we're not going to use who other people like and how many people follow them and all these clicks and stuff. We're not going to call them experts. We're not going to say that they're whatever. Just be you. Trust and believe. You're going to find your people. period.
Well, and also, can we just talk about the fact that sometimes I say this every time this topic comes up, so I'm sorry if I'm a broken record, but authenticity does not mean that you have to share every single thing about yourself. Like, because I think sometimes people like, if you're holding anything back, you're not being authentic. That's not true. You can be authentic and still be kind. You can be authentic. Okay, like I personally, this is one that really gets my goat. I don't trash decks on my channel. If I get a deck in, I'll say what I do and don't like about it, and that's fine. I'll be honest. But if I get a deck in and it's garbage, I'm going to like contact the creator and get, I'm sorry, this is not for me. And that's why I don't accept decks for review unless I think I'm at least gonna like them a little bit, because it's not fucking fun.
It's not fun. I have we can joke. Yeah. Like we can joke and like, you know, poke fun at the decks that we like and, you know, like things like that. But it's like at the same time, people are like, well, nobody has a bad review. Like, yes, there are.
Yeah.
However, if, you know, like, oh, well, they're not true. Somebody sent it. You think I'm going to accept something if I'm going to trash it? I would not fix my face to have a creator send me something that they have to pay for, that they have worked hard on, that it's their time, their money, their energy, their love. I'm going to have them send me that and then trash it? Absolutely not.
No. Yeah.
You're not going to see that on my channel.
Not fair. That's not fair to anybody.
No, if somebody would have accepted one of my decks and then said this is garbage, I'd have been like,
why did you take it in the first place?
Why did you take it? Why did you say yes? I could have had somebody else that even had a neutral
opinion.
It's okay to be neutral. Like, hey, I was curious about this deck. It's good, but I'm not going to get it and trash it. It's not going to happen. So I agree.
What's happened for me too, and I don't know if y'all have had this experience, but when I have sat down with decks that I've purchased with my own money, or that I've whatever, that I legitimately thought I was going to love, or that I've received thinking I was going to love it, and I've started to film a video, and I get partway and I'm like, I really hate this, and it's just a me thing, and it's like I don't have fun filming that video. When I get partway into a video and I'm like, wow, I really hate this deck, I turn the camera off, I delete that content, because it's not fun for me to make that content. Selfishly, everything else aside, that's not fun. You'll hear about it. You'll hear about it in an anti-haul when I say I'm not keeping the deck, or in a declutter. You'll hear that, like, hey, this one didn't work for me. Here's generally why that is. But it is the most unpleasant thing in the world for me to sit there for an hour, or because my videos are fucking long and I'm an idiot. I'm just like, I'm not an idiot, but like I talk a lot. But it's not fun to sit there for that amount of time and just not be having a good time. And that's not why I make videos. So that's
what purpose does it serve to trash a deck? We can come on as influencers, whatever. I hate that word. But we can come on. I hate that word. We can come on as content creators, and we can say, hey, I was working with this deck. It didn't really work out for me. Here's why it didn't really work out for me. And then move on, because why do we need to live in that negativity? We don't. And going on and trashing a deck, all you're trying to do is stir the pot at that point.
You're trying to fight.
We've seen it happen. You're picking a fight with people who put, whether you like their deck or not, somebody put their heart and soul into that. It doesn't have to be for you. It's not for everybody. And it's like to come on and trash somebody's hard work. What purpose does that serve? It doesn't. We can come on and we can objectively talk about an issue with a deck.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can
talk about your issues if there are issues.
You can point out flaws. You can point out like what doesn't work for you, why it doesn't resonate for you. That the reason I think it bugs me specifically with tarot so much is the same reason it would bug me for books. Because your experience with the book is not going to be my experience with a book. And your experience with the deck is not going to be my experience with the deck. And here's something that I think once you gain like even like a couple thousand subscribers, you start to become aware of the fact that if I say something really, really positive about a deck and then somebody else doesn't like it, they can feel like that I'm responsible for that, and vice versa. So like and this is the other thing I like to point out to people too. Sometimes I don't like a deck because I see something problematic about it. And here's something that a lot of people don't understand. If I put a deck on my channel and I even trash it, I am giving attention to that deck. I am definitely highlighting it. People are going to become aware of it, and some people will buy it. So if I am ethically opposed to a deck, I 1000% do not mention it ever, because even a negative mention is publicity for that deck. And I think sometimes it's attention, like a nice washing thing or a glossing over thing. It's an awareness that I've gotten thousands of comments.
It is an awareness
that, oh, Lisa doesn't like this, but I love this. So if I genuinely don't want to promote a deck, it does not get mentioned, period. Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like there will be, and I don't know if it talks about it because the next topic, we'll just go on to the next topic, which is like imposter syndrome and FOMO and stuff like that.
Okay.
We'll kind of talk about that in just a second, but like, I thought it might have led into this, but yeah, like I really do think that it's an important line where it's like being honest and then, you know, like shitting on someone,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I feel like people like the drama sometimes where it's like, oh, they want to hear the tea. And it's like, there's a time and a place and people do whatever they want to do and they can, you know, because some creators are behaving badly. You know, there was a recent thing going around. It's like deck creators are behaving badly. Reviewers are behaving badly. Everybody's behaving badly. Right. But let's just come at it as like, I'm a human. You're a human. So let's just be kind, talk about the things we want to talk about, and just not be overly rude. You can say that it's not for you, like y'all all said, you know, just like seconding. It's not for you, or maybe it is. And like, but I'm always in those feels where it's like, you know, some people will come back and be like, I bought this because I saw you loved it and I hate it. And it's like, I never said you had to like, but I never said you had to like it. I said that I really liked it. And there are some times that, yes, I will put a deck up. I will go through it. And I will be honest, I'm going to say, I don't know if this is going to stay in my collection or if it's going to go. But right now, I am excited about it. And I'm going to be honest. It's true. I'm not going to show something that I'm not excited about or I'm not curious about.
Yeah.
Where it goes from there, I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to always love every deck. No. But sometimes I like it in the moment. And then I will come back. Y'all have watched my declutter and my cull and all my collection videos. I will say I loved this at first. And then it really just fell off the map for me.
Yeah. Like I've had it happen so many times where sometimes it's the opposite too. Sometimes I'll be very meh about a deck until I work with it and then I love it. Or like this is why I like doing like the anti-hauls and the like the this or that's, because I get to revisit decks that I've talked about before and be like, here's where I'm sitting with it now. Here's how it fit into my practice or didn't fit into my practice and whatever. But to me, it's no different than clothing, right? Like you're going to feel a style some days and you're not going to feel it other days, or you're going to feel it for a while. And then you're like, okay, my hypercolor shirt phase is over now. I don't want those anymore.
I mean, listen, my sunflower flip bucket hat just doesn't go with what I'm wearing anymore. So I'm just going to let it go, you know?
Like, it's not anymore. It's okay.
It's okay.
And I've had stuff go and come back and like, you know, rediscover in a new way. And like,
absolutely. It's sometimes it's a time and a place.
1000%.
Yeah. I'm not here for it today, but I might be tomorrow. You never know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally. Catch me on a good day too. And that's the other thing. Something people don't, I think, remember sometimes is our energy changes. Like, if I'm having like a bummed out day, if I've been stressed, I'm not going to vibe on a deck the way I might if I had an amazing day, just had great sex. Like I'm on the top of the world, whatever. I'm going to love everything.
Like, feeling it on the world. Let's do this. But if I come off of like a stub toe, it's pouring down rain. I got stuck in the mud. And I'm just be like, this deck is fine.
Yeah.
So relatable. That's exactly what I mean. Like, because we're just people, yo. We're just people.
Yeah. We're just people.
Flawed humans, all of us.
Yep, absolutely.
Speaking of flawed, let's talk about imposter syndrome and FOMO.
Word.
Okay. Since I didn't pick a question on that one, let me look through this. I don't know. Do y'all have one for this one yet?
No, you go first.
Okay.
Go for it.
The hypercolor shirt phase. I know, right? I don't know why that was ever a thing. I loved them during their time, but my favorite thing was pulling them out of the dryer when they were all one color because they'd like gotten hot. I don't know.
That's so funny. So, you liked it when it was one color.
Yeah.
So let me see. Okay. So if I experience FOMO, which I have, has it ever left me feeling vulnerable to be taken advantage of financially or otherwise? An example would be the need to purchase the latest popular product or whatever to fit in. I don't feel like it's ever left me vulnerable simply because like I'm not the type of person, like I might want it. I might have the FOMO. Like I feel like I really, really want it, but I'm never going to buy something that's not financially feasible for me. Like there are times that I will not buy matter of fact, yesterday I had a $20 tarot deck in my Amazon account, like in my Amazon fucking
cart
checkout name. Cart. Thank you. God,
Cart.
word. I had it in my cart and I was like, I don't need to spend the $20 right now. And I just put it down. It was $20. Like I want it. Yeah. But like, I'm not going to overstretch myself even $20.
Yeah.
If I don't feel like I need it right now.
Yeah.
So it's like, I do have FOMO and I have bought things, whatever, but I don't have FOMO that I'm going to do something to jeopardize my life to buy something. I'm not like that in general.
Yeah, same.
So that's just not a thing for me. What about you guys?
That's just being a grown up. That like if I can't afford it, I don't buy it. It doesn't matter how much I want it. And that's just part of being a grown up. Like and when you have, kids you gotta care for and responsibilities and households and stuff like that, right? Tarot is like it's a tool. It's not a necessity. It's not food. It's not shelter. It's a luxury. It's a luxury item. And if I don't have the money for that item, I don't buy it because I'm a grown up and I have bills I have to pay and I have people I have to care for. And then I have areas where I have like my play money, right? So then I have to divvy up between my play money because there's only so much of that to go around.
Yeah.
So then what decks are, you're going to get for that versus this deck?
Yeah.
Yeah. FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yeah. We use a lot of lingo up in here. Do y'all know how long it took me to figure out what the heck VR meant? I was watching one after another, could not figure it out. Nobody was telling me. I tried Googling it. Like nothing was getting in here. VR equals video response. Also, I saw that earlier in chat, but like it took me like so long to figure it out. And now I use it and forget to clarify. But I'm the same. Like if I can't afford it, I don't buy it. I've gone through periods of my life where I'm very hand to mouth, where I went through a period of my life where I had like $100 a month. That was my grocery bill for me and another adult. Yeah. I know what that's like. And I know what kinds of purchases I'm going to make in that situation versus another situation. I have absolutely gotten swept up in my friends or my community's excitement about a deck and bought it, but it's never made me feel taken advantage of or like somebody else. Oh, I love Jomo. Oh my God. Joy of missing out. Oh,
I love that.
That's a good one.
I've never felt pressured. Okay, let me back up. Never in a not fun way have I ever felt pressured to buy a deck, right? Like my friends will be like, Lisa, you need this, or whatever. Or people who watch me, like, Lisa, check this out. That's fun. That shows that you all know me. People will tag me and shit. I love that. That makes me feel so seen. It's like, oh, y'all know my style. You know what I like. That's so cool. But like when it comes to like everybody talking about the latest cool trend, I've gotten swept up in trends and then usually find out that I was a little hasty and maybe I shouldn't have bought that like fancy collage deck that cool me wants to like whatever. I've definitely done that. But at the end of the day, like I've never felt like I've been put in a position because I'm in charge of how of whether or not I press the buy button. Like that's my, like Dawn said, that's my grown-up decision. That's my adult decision.
That's my grown-up decision. And I feel like when it comes to FOMO, it's like people use it in many different ways. Like, oh, I bought this so I wouldn't miss out on it. Like, yes. But like when it goes to the point where it's like putting you in a vulnerable place or you feel like you've been taken advantage of, I think that kind of really goes into like, that's more than FOMO.
No, that's like almost like needing to find a way to better manage a relationship with people who influence you, whether that's your friends or content creators, because sometimes, and we don't talk about this enough, but I do this. I've definitely done this. There have been creators I used to watch on YouTube. Some of them aren't on YouTube anymore, but who, if they genuinely were enthusiastic about a deck, I was like, I'm going to love it. And every single time with that, there's one creator I'm thinking of in particular. Her name was Tracy. I forget the name of her channel now. Do you know who I'm talking about, Dawn? Temperance Tarot. Tracy.
Temperance Tarot. Yes. Yeah.
Every time she loved a deck, I was going to buy that deck. And 9 times out of 10, it was not for me. But there was something about Tracy's energy where I always wanted to like what she liked. Like I was like, oh, if Tracy likes it, I'm going to like it. And I think sometimes we forget to like, we identify with the creator because we so enjoy their energy or we so enjoy their vibe. Like I'm like that with a lot of Dani decks. Dani enthusing about a deck makes me want to buy it so much. And again, like our aesthetics are not the same.
Not the same.
And I have to check myself and be like, wait. I'm excited about this because I like Dani and I like that Dani likes this deck. And I have to remind myself that there's like separation between what Dani likes and what I like and like kind of reel it in a bit. But it's really easy actually to, if you like a creator or if you have a friend you respect who has a view on tarot, it's very, very normal to want to enthuse about what they're enthusing about or like what they like. But you have to like remind yourself like, okay, that's them.
Well, also it creates a conversation, right? If you have a deck and then I buy that same deck and now we can have a conversation about that deck. So there's value in that too, because I have done that. I don't think I've ever bought, I will say I've never bought a deck that has put me in any sort of financial difficulty. Never, because I just wouldn't. That's just not a grown-up thing to do. But I have bought decks out of FOMO that I'm like, it's not really my thing and I wouldn't have bought it otherwise. But on the flip side of that, there are times when I have bought decks because there's a conversation happening around that deck and I want to experience it for myself. It doesn't mean that I'm going to keep that deck forever. And it doesn't mean that that deck is really necessarily a deck for me. But there's a conversation, be it if it's on TarotTube or just with friends, that I want to have that conversation with you. I want to see what you're seeing. I want to look at it from your perspective. It doesn't mean it'll be the same for me.
Yeah. I kind of did that with the Notoria Goetia decks because I was like, I've got to just see. I have to just see and I have to just try.
Yeah, it's just I want to see and try. Yeah.
There are so many decks that came into my collection from a very, very sweet person. And not all of them were for me. Yeah. But the experience of being able to sit with them and flip through them and like there is still an experience to be had. And it's like I feel like we talk about fear of missing out, but let's be honest, like we want the experience and sometimes it's the excitement of wanting to join the conversation. But at the same time, like if you find yourself, like, again, I feel like it's more than FOMO, like what they're talking about and like with financial, whatever, it's more than that. So like, be sure that, you know, what you're doing, you can join the conversation, even if you don't have the thing in your hand. You can watch everything on. There are some things that I want, y'all. I'm never going to get my hands on a Victorian mansion in England. Like it's not going to happen. Right? But I can watch other people do that and still feel fulfilled and still join in the conversation, still learn everything I want to about it, you know the fixtures, know this, that, and the other. Maybe I'll never get to see it in person. Maybe I will, but like, I'm not going to base my life. I'm not going to not join the conversation just because I don't have it in my hands. You can still join the conversation. Like, don't feel like you have to do that. And maybe that's a big part of it is like, you can, you're still welcome at our table.
100%. And I think that's the thing to remember is like, sometimes we feel like we can't participate unless we have the thing. And I think that's a really, really good reminder. And then on the complete opposite end of that, I will point out that like, sometimes I will accept a deck for review or purchase a deck knowing that there is a chance it might not be for me over the long term because there's something for me to be gained about the short term experience of getting to know that deck or comparing it to other decks that I have that it somehow can teach me about. I get so much out of every walkthrough I do. Like I've talked about this before. If I didn't get any value out of it, I wouldn't do it. Like it has, I want it to be a service, but it has to also serve me or there's no point. So like every time I walk through a deck for the first time and I see a new way somebody shows a symbol or tells a story, it teaches me about the tarot. Like I wouldn't like that experience alone for me has value and I can afford in my life financially to bring a deck in, walk through it, have that experience and then gift it or trade it or send it to someone else. And so sometimes that is a part of my practice in an intentional way. Like I'm pretty sure this isn't going to stay with me long term, but I'm also pretty sure I'm going to get something out of the experience of it. I freaking did that with the Journey Tarot. I saw this, I bought it like on the fly in my hot takes. I was like, because there was poems and it was just really different. And I got it in and I'm like, uh-oh, this might not be staying. And then I sat and filmed a walkthrough that ended up being like an hour long. And I'm blown away by it because I took a chance on the experience of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And there are some things that I do that too, where like, I'm like, I will, if I'm in the space, and especially before I used to do that all the time. Like I was in the space because I would do it with mass market decks, You know, I'm in the space where I can spend $40 on these 2 decks that I don't know if I'm going to like or not.
Yeah.
Because I'll either love them or I can trade them or rehome them or whatever. You know, like no big deal. And you know, I still have some stuff that needs to be rehomed. It's going to sit on my shelf. Maybe nobody wants these. That's okay too.
Yeah.
Because honestly, the ones that I have for rehome, sometimes I'll still go and grab them.
Yeah.
You know, like
that's why I have a purgatory drawer.
Exactly.
To expand because I probably only really rehome decks like maybe twice a year now because it's such a pain. Let me be honest, it's such a pain. So I just end up and then I'll end up gifting them or taking them to like to when I see friends and letting them look at them, and then you know eventually I'll probably you know list them somewhere. But like listen, like they're sitting there the whole time. So if I change my mind, which I have a number of times, I can pull them back out, make sure you know, make sure I'm sure. All that kind of stuff, but
So do y'all think like the fear of missing out? We talk about the actual buying the deck, but I don't think that's what it is. It's not about whether or not you have the deck in your hands. It's about missing out on the experience of the community conversation around that deck. And I think that's the important piece of the puzzle. We get caught up in the financial of it, how much that deck costs, you know, whether you physically have it in your hands or not. And I don't like, for me personally, if it's a FOMO thing, it's not about the actual deck. It's usually about the people that I'm watching that are having fun with that deck. It could be any deck. It doesn't matter what the deck is.
It could be anything. Watching Lisa play with nail polish excites the shit out of me. Ask me if I paint my own nails.
No. Oh yeah, you go get your nails done, right?
I go get my nails done because I'm a nail biter. I cannot do that. I will bite through my nail polish. I have to have acrylic on top of my nails, or like I don't put like tips on, but like if I don't have the acrylic, I will bite them.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna do it, but tickled as shit to watch Lisa talk about all her nail polish. You know what I mean? Like it's about the excitement. Like, does it make me want to go buy nail polish? Yes, because I want some of those colors.
Do I have some Mooncat nail polish on order coming to me? Of course I do, because Lisa was playing with it in a member video, and I was like, oh, I need that. Because it was, here's the thing, because it was Lisa playing with it. And if it had been anybody else getting excited about nail polish, I've been like, I don't care.
Cool.
I use like 4 different colors. That's it.
Yeah.
It does. I think that's the piece of the puzzle that's missing. It's about the people that you're watching, because it doesn't matter what the topic
with
is.
that person on that
on that
it's not just the item, it's the conversation. And I think this is also made more complex by when you hear somebody has an experience, and this happens actually all the time with tarot decks specifically. I get this feedback, right? I have a specific experience with, say, the Deviant Moon or the Tarot of Curious Creatures. I'm mentioning these two because I've gotten comments about both of these in this way. But I'll talk about my experience, about what it feels like for me to work with those decks, what it felt like, what happened for me. And then people will buy that deck seeking that experience. And the piece in that is missing is that just because you get the same deck doesn't mean you're going to have the same experience.
They're not you.
I've been using soul cards for like freaking 25 years or something now. Like I have a very specific experience with those decks, of that mega deck or whatever. But I was actually talking to a friend once, this was probably a good year or two ago, and she was like, I really want that experience and I need to try. And I'm like, try. Like, you never know unless you try.
You never know.
Like there's no, I wish we could guarantee, I wish we could say, yeah, if you get this deck, you'll have this experience, because that'd be so predictable and amazing. But that's not how it actually works. You might get that exact same
rehomed mine because I didn't get that experience. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, exactly. But on the flip side of that, I think the thing that makes this more complex is that we are living in a world with a hobby where things go out of print. So my recent promo purchase would have been the Celtic Dragon Tarot by Lisa Hunt, DJ Conway. I've been thinking about that deck for decades. Like I've always known somebody who had it. It's always shown up in like circles when I've gone to like divination events. It's always there. And I'm like, I need that deck. And I found out it was going out of print. That's classic FOMO, fear of missing out. I purchased the deck, tried to do a walkthrough. Guess what? This is one of those walkthroughs I had to pitch halfway through because I couldn't with the deck. I'm like, but I needed to know. And put it to bed.
I did that with the Everyday Witch. Everybody was talking, I've tried so hard. I made
Dani, same. That deck just, it doesn't work for me.
And I made so many people mad.
It's a hot mess. I don't get it.
Yeah.
People are so mad. I'm like, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I like weird shit.
I literally
that's what makes you.
That's what makes me. And like, yeah. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I'm sorry, y'all. I just can't. I can't do it. And it's like, I don't know. It's like, but it is. It's all about. It hits the nail on the head. It's the people. It's the people that we want to engage with, and like you said, it's like the legit FOMO where it's like, oh, there's a possibility. You know, some of the Kickstarters they do that run and it's done.
Yeah.
So there is a bit of that. Like you're never gonna be away from the fact that there might be something that's gonna go out of print. Look at the Delta Enduring Tarot. I wanted it. And I sat on it, and then it went out of print.
And it went out of print, and now it's stupid expensive.
Now it's stupid. I had people tagging me, Dani. It was Ethany that had one. I'm like, thank you, because I wanted to know, but I'm sorry, $500. Like, I can't do. That's not me. I can't do it. I cannot. And I won't. And I want that shit bad.
I know you do. I know my heart.
Not $500 worth of bad.
Yeah,
but I'm
not
just not.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't. And let's not forget that some creators, and I truly don't know names, so I'm not being like vague booky or whatever. But like there are creators like that create decks and put them up on places like Etsy, and they'll list like 10 at a time. So it'll say there's only one left, blah blah blah. Sometimes there's artificial FOMO in the community, so you have to be aware of that too. Some people will limit their stock on purpose to drive demand. That is a sales tactic.
And I'm like, oh, mine would do that, but I like legit. I would only put like a certain amount at a time because I had people who would ask for more, and I only kept 50 on me.
Oh, yeah.
I was say some do it to just limit the amount of work that they have. I have time and effort I would right now.
Yeah, I would put like 20 of them because I didn't know where, like, am I going to put this somewhere else? Am I going to go to Art Walk and bring some with me? Like, I don't know. So I'm going to put these aside. I know I have this, you know, and that's why I eventually put it on Make Playing Cards. I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. To me, that's different. That's like, that's just managing your inventory, managing your sanity when you're selling a product.
Exactly. But there is also people who will do, but that kind of goes into that like scamming shit. And,
True. Yeah. Wait, what are we on? We're on imposter syndrome and FOMO.
Yeah, we're on imposter syndrome. Do we want another question from this one?
Oh, yeah. This is a good one. Okay. When practicing my craft, do I find myself comparing what I do, what I've seen, what I do to what I've seen, what I've been seeing people do online? Oh my God, I need to wear glasses.
Try that one more time.
I'm like,
what's more with feeling?
What's more?
What's more with feeling? So this is just basic comparison. Yes, absolutely. There's a few places in my life where I really struggle with imposter syndrome. Like, it's kind of funny. It's been really hard for me to own my own tarot knowledge, actually.
It has.
Because I show up in a particular way, and I love the way that I show up because that's who I am. Like, I'm very playful. I'm very like inner child and all this stuff. But I often feel like, who am I then to talk about what I know? Like, to talk about myself, to speak in a serious topic. Yeah. Like, it's almost like I feel like nobody will take me seriously, which is not the case at all. This is all in my head stuff. This is not how anybody else treats me. This is just like my stuff. So like, I really hold myself back sometimes from owning my own personal authority or my own personal knowledge. So then when I get compliments about knowledge or any of that stuff, I get very uncomfortable very quickly because I'm like, wait, no, that's
yes, you do.
You do.
So I struggled there for sure. It was really, really scary for me to write a tarot book. That was really scary. And it's still, when people talk about it, I turn into like freaking Flower from Bambi. Like, I'm like, oh no, look at me. Love it.
Don't look at me.
Every time. So I really struggle in that way. And I think it's because I see people who I perceive as like the knowledgeable ones. All of us have knowledge, but like I kind of pigeonhole based on, I don't know, how somebody puts themselves forward. If they seem like serious or grown up or like, you know, very like
grown up. Yeah.
It's a grown up thing for sure.
It's that confidence in what they're saying. It's like, I could talk to you right now about training a dog. Yeah. And if I talk to you like this, you would believe me.
Yeah.
But I don't know shit about that.
What I used to do that in college. Did you know that? That's how I put myself through college.
Go figure out. But no, like it's like some people can talk with that authority.
Yes. About
no matter what they're talking about.
On everything. Yeah. And I bring this like lightness and like groundedness to the things that I do. And I don't speak. I'm not interested in speaking like an academic, if that makes sense. That's not me at all. And I think because that's not me, I'm like, oh, then I probably don't have, I don't probably have anything to share, which is completely wrong. That's my imposter syndrome. And like things like owning being an author, owning being like, none of that feels real to me still, which is ridiculous because I'm like so far down that rabbit hole right now. It's insane. Like, I know. Like I'm really struggling with that. But the difference is that let's be real, like 7 years ago, that would have stopped me from doing stuff. Now I feel it and it doesn't stop me. So somebody asked in chat, like how you move through, how I like how to get over that feeling or whatever. I would say so far, I haven't gotten over it. I've just learned to not let it stop me and to move through it rather than
move through it. Yeah.
Dictate what I do and don't do. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm feeling the imposter syndrome, but obviously, okay, Llewellyn wants to print it, so I guess it must not totally suck. You know what I mean? So I get myself through it that way. And like, you know what I mean? Like, just like, okay, I'm going to do it anyways. And like people creating a deck, I'll do it anyways. And like, if people like it, they like it. And if they don't, that's cool. I'll have done it, you know?
Yeah.
That's the only real thing that shifted for me is just learning to like sit with the discomfort and do the thing anyways, you know?
Yeah. And let's be real. Some people who sound academic are talking out their butt.
Oh, for sure.
That was the point I was trying to make. I'm like, I can sit here and talk to you like this, but it doesn't mean shit. Like, it doesn't mean that I know it. It just means I know how to regurgitate information in a way that can convince you that I do.
That's a very, very good way to express it. There is a lot of that. Yeah. But that's the thing is like, Peggy told me a story about one of her kids when he was little. He had gone to school and this girl he'd gotten like a really good grade on a paper, like a math paper. And a girl that sat next to him was really happy about her paper. And she said, I am the best in this class at math. And he came home and he said to Peggy, he's like, I must not be as good at math because this other girl's the best. And Peggy's like, well, just because she said that doesn't mean that that's true, first of all. He's like, oh, she's lying? And she's like, no, it's not lying. It's just, she's like, some people have a perception about, like, she's trying to explain this to a freaking, like, 7-year-old. You know what I mean?
Right.
But, like, it's true. That's true as adults. So just because somebody says that they're the best at something doesn't mean that they are, first of all. But I'm that type of person that if you tell me you're the best at something, I'm like, cool, you're the best then. I guess I'll back up. And that's a naivete thing for me. Like, it's definitely like a taking people at face value when I shouldn't always thing that gets me into trouble sometimes. But it's just, I like to believe what people say about themselves, I guess.
It's the world's greatest cup of coffee thing, right? Every cafe says they have the world's greatest cup of coffee. Really? Every single one of you?
Yeah, you can't all be the
you can't all be the best.
We legit have the world famous City Bar right here in my hometown. Y'all don't know what the City Bar is. How is world famous?
No. Right. World famous. Okay.
World famous in the middle of Maurice. They got like 4 cars and all of y'all live over here. We know who's at City Bar. Trust and believe.
Beware the claims. Yeah.
Maurice famous. Yeah. That's what it is.
But I
know, so it's like
content and not be imposter syndrome sometimes. Not feel like you're like, who the fuck am I to be saying this, doing this, thinking I have it.
That's a thought I have every single day. Every single day. I mean, how many videos have I sent you, Lisa, going, oh, I shouldn't post this, right? Because I don't know what I'm talking about. This is terrible. Why am I even filming this?
Yeah, it's so easy when I see it in other people. It's so easy to go, that's ridiculous. Of course you can say all that. When it's me, it's like, who am I?
Who am I?
That's the nature of imposter syndrome.
I made a video yesterday or day before yesterday. Matter of fact, I need to finish editing and putting it on my channel. Yeah. But like when I tell you I have not made a video in 3 weeks because I feel like I have nothing to say. I'm like, what am I going to say? I have nothing to say right now. What am I going to say?
Yeah.
You know, I had to just turn it on and be like, girl, just talk. What are you tripping on? Yeah. What are you tripping on? Nobody cares. You don't care if anybody cares. You just want to talk to somebody, but you don't feel like you have anything to say. Just turn the camera on and talk to your friends.
Yes.
And I think that's what we forget sometimes is like, and I'm bad for that, obviously, as a creator, where it's like, I feel like nobody wants to hear from me. I don't have anything important to say. And it's like, sometimes they just want to hang out.
Every day.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's hard. Imposter syndrome is difficult.
Yeah.
It's hard to show up, even when I want to, y'all. Like, I'll go out every day. I'm like, oh, I should film this. I would love to like just chat about this right now, like with, you know, the community. And I won't, because I feel like, well, I don't really know what I'm talking about, or I don't have anything important to say. Like,
you know what? You know, Peggy just started doing this thing, which I think is so cool. She's doing these like just chats on her channel about like topics that interest her, like Edgar Casey, Atlantis, like all this kind of stuff, right? And the way she decided to do it, which I thought was, because I could listen to her talk about this shit like all damn day. Like I could just like, she used to tell me bedtime. We used to call it bedtime stories. I'd literally like cuddle up and I'd be like, just start talking about something, and then I'd fall asleep. But it was so cozy to me. But anyways, the punchline of all this is that like she started doing this thing where she's like, let's just like read about it together. Like, I want to talk about this, but I'm not an expert. Let's look it up on the internet together. I see you, Dani. Let's look it up on the internet together.
I just don't want to do it on camera. Y'all all know I'm vaping. Everybody knows. I'm literally blowing stuff everywhere. I just don't want to do it on here because I don't want to be flagged or anything.
Yeah, fair. But like, it's like I love that approach, because it's like she gave herself permission to talk about what she wanted to talk about without having to be or feel the pressure of having to be an authority on it. She's like, let's just look it up together. We'll look it up online. We'll read the article. We'll talk about it, whatever.
Hang out.
I was like, that is such a good reminder that like sometimes we think, but just by showing up here, we have to be the expert, which we don't. You can literally just come on here and just like freaking say, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but I just feel like talking about it. So let's do it. You know?
Exactly. And you know,
and there's the verbal processing thing of sometimes like all three of us are verbal processors. So we don't know how we feel or what we think until we say it out loud.
Which is why we talk to each other so much and like ask each other things, because we're talkers. We talk it out. And that's basically all I'm doing on my videos too, you know. It's like, and we forget that like,
processing that
people are here to do verbal process together, you know.
Look what Green Eyed Parrot said. I thought this was a really good comment. She says, I provide professional development in my muggle job, and my colleagues and I debate about this all the time. It's more important to be relatable and meaningful than sound smart by using big words. That's true. Totally. Like, when people do that, it actually is a turnoff a lot of the time, because it's like, I want to understand you. You don't need to use the fanciest language.
I'm going to call a deck out right now for this.
Oh, do it.
The archetype deck.
The Kim Kranz one?
No.
Oh.
The other one.
The Carol one? The
red box one?
No.
Oh, the new one. The Carl Jung one.
We're lost. We're guessing. Grasping at straws.
I know. Archeo. That's the one I'm thinking of. Is that not the Jung one? Or is there another one coming out that's Jung? I can't remember.
This one.
Yeah, that's the one I was wait, is that that's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, these are the backs. I don't even know if I have the book anymore. Hold on.
Nick Banton. The one with the guys with glasses on the box. That's what I was picturing in my head.
Yeah, the guy with the glasses on the Yeah. Okay. Love the images. Really cool. It's in here because I put it in my journal now.
Yeah.
The way that thing was written, I'm not gonna say it, but I was like, go shit. Okay. That's the nice version. It was like, I get
like unnecessarily.
I understand.
Pretentious?
But like, we don't need $10 million words every other sentence. I mean, you know, like, come on, just say what you're trying to say. Like, I know you're trying to portray these things, but like, there's a way to say, like, I don't know, there's a way to say it where you don't feel like, I don't know, you're like alienating people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dog was right there. She needed,
you know, like, to sound so smart. It's like, that's an intimidation. Like, some people just talk that way, but you can always tell because their sentences flow. And even though they use bigger words, you can tell that they're just talking.
Good example. Annabelle.
That's a part of their language.
Annabelle talks really that way
all the time, but you can tell it's very natural to her. That's how she speaks.
Natural.
How she expresses herself. So it doesn't read to me pretentious or off-putting because I'm like, oh, this is just Annabelle's language. But then there's other people who use that same kind of language, but it's not natural to them. It feels put on.
It does. It does feel there's an authenticity to it. Again, that's how you spot a charlatan most of the time.
That's right.
You know, it's like there's something about that doesn't quite feel right. And there's always a tone there.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to, and like in written, it's very hard. But in this one, like there were some words, like there was a word that I looked up that was literally like, you could have just said that. I wish I had the example.
I've seen
it was like,
that. I know exactly
could have just said that then. This was an unnecessary $20.
And in mass market stuff, I feel like that should be a content. I feel like an editor should be like, hey, this isn't as clear. Can you hold it? I mean, maybe they don't do that.
Maybe they
don't do that. But I feel like my content editor would have said straight up, like, this is confusing. Like, this confused us. Can you rework this?
Yeah, like it's like it just doesn't work. Like
I feel like that should be caught, because that's the thing is like, if I will say that is, I definitely appreciate plain language. Like I love pretty words, sure, but I get so much more value out of just being straight up, like casual language. I think that's why books like Kitchen Table Tarot and What the Fuck is Tarot did so well, because they were like regular people talking about this. So I think I say that out loud and I'm like, oh yeah, Lisa, that's your reminder that like it's still valid to like talk normal.
Yeah. Think about the people that you watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't watch the academic side of tarot.
Yeah, same.
I'm going to be honest. I really don't.
Yeah.
Because mine is a spiritual place and mine's a very plain speak kind of place. Mine's a very mundane / spiritual practice.
Grounded.
And so I don't need, when I'm interested, I seek it out. But I'm not going to listen to somebody talk at me this way. But I always feel like an imposter when I don't. And I think that has a lot to do with where I grew up and how I grew up.
Yeah.
My dialect is different than a lot of people.
Yeah.
The way that I say things is different than a lot of people.
When you have generational trauma with that kind of stuff, right?
I have a lot of generational trauma with who and what I am.
With your whole freaking culture, really being just
it is. And we were very much shamed. So when I speak a certain way, or when I don't know something, or when I don't know how to say something correctly, like I'm not gonna lie, that's a trigger for me, because I feel like, oh, well, I'm just some dumb little Cajun from the backwoods of the swamp.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever gonna take me seriously because I'm just a dumb little girl. Because that's how we grew up, y'all. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
No.
The stronger your accent, the dumber you are.
Yep.
And so
it's like that's a huge amount of, like I said, generational trauma and like a baggage to carry with you, to be like, just me being myself, people are going to perceive me in a certain way, and that is going to add to just the usual or the common experience of imposter syndrome, and make you feel like you don't have a right to have a voice or to speak about things that matter to you. And the thing, it's kind of interesting because these are things that we bring to the table, but we don't see ourselves the way the general public sees us. We see ourselves through our own biases about ourselves and through our own insecurities. And so like, it's kind of interesting because you were one of the first people I started watching for what I thought was just a lot of wisdom and a lot of like I really looked up to you when I first started watching you on YouTube. And the thing is, but you don't see that about yourself because
I don't at all. I'm just like, ew, why? Lisa, girl, stop. Ew, no.
Because to me, you seem like somebody who knew their shit. Like at the end of the day, when it came to anything even remotely like witchy, magical, because when I first started watching you, you were very witchy content focused at the time. And I was like, damn, this girl is like, got it. Like you felt so real to me, which speaks much more to knowing your shit than just telling you how it is. Like you were like, oh yeah, if you want to do this, you can do it this way, and you can do it that way. And like, that's going to feel more like somebody who knows what they're doing than just saying the right words. You know what I mean?
And like, I guess that's the whole thing. It's like, my perspective is so off when it comes to that, because like, I never feel like I know what I'm talking about. I never feel like that is my imposter syndrome. Oh, you just,
I have no
glowing like an angel.
You're glowing.
Nothing changed in here. I have no idea why that just happened. Like nothing.
You had orbs floating around in you had orbs floating around in the video that we filmed with Dawn. The what the fuck is up with that?
What the fuck was that? Yeah, you did.
You did. When I was rewatching it, I was like, oh.
Can you? Do you guys remember when?
I don't remember when. It was like in the middle, though.
Oh shit, that was so freaking weird. Like everything was exactly the same in here. I'm sorry, I totally got distracted. I'm so sorry.
Your white balance and just like threw it completely off.
Something that was so weird. Okay. Anyways, I'm so sorry, Dani. I totally like.
Oh no, that's okay.
Stuff. So sorry.
Just glowing for a moment.
Just glowing for a moment. No big deal.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Just glowing for
but no, I think like that's a personal thing for me. My perception of what other people think of me is incredibly skewed.
Yeah.
Ask my husband.
Yeah.
He's like, you don't get it. I was like, I don't get it. He's like, I don't understand what you don't see. I'm like, I see a dumb little girl. That's all.
God, I hate that for you. I hate that for you.
I know, and I'm really trying. Like, I'm not saying that for anyone to feel sorry for me.
No,
in any way, shape, or form. Like,
but
oh my God,
it's like I see you, and I like you. You know, so it literally hits me so hard. I'm like, no, stop.
Jacob said that the other day, you know, like, but even in that perception, y'all, I've known him since I was 5 years old. Like, I know we're getting whatever, but like, it doesn't matter. Like, even though that's my best friend, I still have days where I'm terrified that he just doesn't like me.
I know. I go through the exact
same. He's been my best friend since I was 5.
I know.
But he don't like me? Okay.
Yeah. It's
it's like
it's what our brains do to us, right?
It's what our brains do. So I think like, especially being on the internet, like, again, that's like I don't think people understand that we're just doing this scared sometimes.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing I think people don't get. It's like, I've been doing this shit for 5-6 years now. Like, I'm still scared. Sometimes I still feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing or why anybody's bothering to watch me. I don't get it half the time. Like, so yeah, I think there's this perception that like you get to a certain point in doing anything and you've got it all figured out. And most of us are like legitimately flying by the seat of our damn pants.
None of us have it figured out.
None of us.
Even the people who say they have it all figured out, they're lying. They don't.
They're lying.
They're scared. They're scared too. We're all scared.
We're all scared. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
We all feel like we don't say the right things, have the right things, like, and then we all come up here and we're like, we don't know why y'all are listening to any of us.
I know.
Every single one of us making videos. Y'all in the chat, tell me if I'm wrong. If you make
tell
videos,
me if I'm wrong. Do y'all feel the same way?
You all feel the same way because we all have varying degrees of offerings and all of that. But if you come on here and you are making some sort of content, tell me I'm wrong that you don't have a day where you're like, I have no idea why these people are watching my video. This is crap. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Like,
why do I bother?
Why do I bother?
I got dumb looking fingers. I'm like, something cut. Like, I got
the hand thing.
I
can't even pronounce anything correctly.
Every single time I turn on the camera, there is that initial like, who am I to be doing this?
Yeah. Yep.
Who am I to be doing this? Every single time. And it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. It doesn't matter how many subscribers you have.
It doesn't go away.
It doesn't go away.
Even being in the theater, like I didn't do a crazy amount of stuff because I quit fairly early just because our whole shit went down. But like, even doing that, like, I can't tell you, I hated, there's aspects of it that I hated so much.
Yeah.
Trying to like work up the courage and work up the gumption. It's like, I should be used to this by now.
Yeah.
I should be used to this by now. And honestly, it was the fear right before. But the second I got on stage, I was like, oh, this is why I do this.
Yeah. That's
it's only the fear that you're going to fall on your face. But then you realize if you fall on your face, you get the biggest laugh. Yeah. And so you still won. You just did it. And that's the prize. You did it even though you were scared. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like you do it even though you're scared. You just try. You're going to be scared. But once you start doing, you realize like the reward is greater. than the fear.
Yes. Oh my God. Can somebody like freaking quote that and say it real loud for the people in the back? Like legitimately, when I say I love public speaking or I love presenting, the reason I love that is so hard to describe because I'm terrified of it. But the moment I'm up there and I get to like just do my thing and like whatever, I have the best time. And I'm like flying for like however long afterwards. And I swear to God, half of it is like the freaking chemical roller coaster you go on when you're like terrified and then you do the thing anyways. And then like it's that whole like endorphin ride you go. And that's what YouTube is on a smaller scale every single time. Because every single time you put yourself out there, you are taking a risk and you're aware of that risk. Every single person who makes content is afraid on some level that they're going to say something the wrong way or do something and it's going to cause a kerfuffle and it's going to be horrible because people on the internet can be assholes.
Yeah.
You know, we're all sitting there afraid of that too. You know, it's how we're going to be perceived. Are people going to see our soul and like what we mean?
Yeah.
I think though that also when we show up and we're honest about the fact that we don't know what we are going to say and we don't know what we're going to do, like I think that like that validates for other people that they can come on and do the same because it's a community. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be an expert to be here. There's no certification to be on YouTube, y'all. You just come on here and you say what you want to say and you participate in a way that feels good and natural for you. And it's scary. But the flip side of that is that you get to meet all of these people and you get to have these types of conversations and you get to be in this space. And participate at this level. And it's fantastic. But there is, I think, this perceived idea that if you have a channel, like you've got everything figured out. If you have a membership, you have everything figured out. You flying by the seat of your pants. Most days you're like, yep, here we are. Okay, what are we doing today? Because I don't know.
Totally.
I don't know.
I'm forever trying to pull shit out of my ass. Like,
But that's the beauty of it. And I know that like being in both of your memberships, that's the part that I love. Because I love that y'all come on and you're like, I don't know what we're doing today, but this sounds like fun. So let's do this. And that's the part I love because it feels like we're just hanging out. Right? I mean, it's weird because we hang out off YouTube too. But we get to hang out and we get to see what each other's doing. And I think that part of it also humanizes because again, we're not Netflix, right? So it humanizes us that we don't always have the answers and we don't always know what we're doing.
Yeah.
But we just want to show up.
Yeah.
That's all it is. We want to show up. We want to be there.
I love the fact that, like having a membership where I feel more comfortable to do that. And like, I still hold myself back sometimes, which is ridiculous. And like, honest to God, true effort trying to stop doing that, and just like turn it on. Like the other day, like I said, I did it the other day. I just turned it on. It might be a shit video. The next video might be shit, but I had fun. So, it's like,
that's all that matters.
Yeah. That's all that matters. I had a great time. And so like,
and those are the best videos. I'm sorry, but the shit videos are the best videos.
Yeah,
they are. They're so much fun.
It's like the pressure that we put on ourselves when it's like so many, like when I put so much pressure on myself, I'm sure y'all are the same way, but like, honestly, I have, and I love watching both of you guys. If y'all post something, I don't care what it is. If y'all post a little short and y'all are literally like, hey, I just walked outside and saw 3 birds. I hope y'all are having a great day. Bye. I would still watch it and be like, okay with that. I don't care. Like, I just want to hang out with my favorite tarot tubers, like I just want to hang out with my favorite people in whatever way, shape, or form that looks like. And from having, I don't know about you guys, but like my day to day, like some days it'll be people-y and other days it's me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just me, and it's like, I feel like with this community, because it is small enough and because we can all like correspond, we're accessible to each other, like, I just feel like it really is just hanging out with my friends. I don't care what other people say, but like we put so much pressure in what we do and what we say. And it's like, but I would watch you brush your teeth.
Yeah. Like this is exactly
it's about the people.
I want to follow people who I want to list, like I want to hang out with them. So like I will find, there's a makeup YouTuber I watch. I will watch her random videos on travel. I don't travel. I haven't been on a plane in like 18 years. But I will watch those videos because I like her personality or I like hanging out with her online. But then when it comes to my stuff, I'm like, oh, I better show up a particular way. So I have to check myself because it's like, oh yeah, I don't have to do that. Like it doesn't have to be. I can just be.
How many people come watch us play a video game that don't play video games?
I know.
Literally,
it's amazing. It's amazing. And we love it. Come hang out with us. We are goofing around. We are having a good time. But it's so cool because there's so many people that show up there to just come hang out. Who don't play video games, who have no clue what we're actually doing or talking about most of the time, because sometimes we go deep. But it's so amazing because they're there to just hang out. It's the same type of thing. We just want to, like, I would watch you all do anything and everything.
For real.
I don't care what you're doing. Just do something.
I don't know a damn thing about those video games. I see y'all doing all these things and I'm like, what? That was so fast. Like, how did they even do that? Is that editing? Is this how the game works? I know nothing. But I enjoy the hell out of it because I just want to hang with my friends. Like, I'll watch it on replays and I'll watch, I know nothing, but I just find it fun, That's what I love about, just finding people you like on the internet and like having this community in general, because so many of you guys, like, there's a few people, Krista knits, like, or crochets. I'm not sure the right term. Correct me if I'm wrong. But like, if you just got on and did that and just chit chatted, I would watch you.
Watch that. Do that. I'm here for that.
I would watch you all day.
I watch everything Krista does.
I know. Like, did y'all watch when Krista made she made the yarn? It was with, I think, her sister, and like dyed all the yarn and then made a bag, and like she made one for Mystic Masters for me. And because it was all the same colors, I would watch it all day.
Legit
all day. I just love the people about it, like you find it because you like the same things, and then you realize you just like these people.
Exactly. I think that's the thing. That's what I enjoy about being on YouTube. I like to attract the people that are here. I watch people for who they are more so than for what they create, if that makes sense. And I want to attract that same kind of tribe community, whatever, around me as well. Like, I want people who are there for not just one specific thing.
Did you struggle with that idea? Because when I first started making videos and I started kind of detouring into other areas, and then I realized that there's a really weird thing for me to realize that there are people who just want to watch because they like me.
That's weird for me.
It's weird for me. It's not like when I come into a space like this, I'm like, okay, well, I need to provide something of substance and value. And I forget that I am of substance and value.
1000%. 1000%. Because it's like, I watch other people.
I still struggle with that every day. I still struggle with it.
I watch other people for them, but I assume it's very easy for me to box myself in and feel like, oh, if I don't produce this thing or that thing, people aren't going to be interested because I am all by myself. I'm not valuable enough. So that's core shit for sure. Absolutely.
That's core shit.
Yeah.
100.
Like, I haven't done a deck mod on my channel for a really long time. I don't have time to mod decks to that extreme anymore in a general sense. But like, I should, just for fun as a throwback thing. But on the flip side of that, I'm like, okay, but if I don't provide the thing that I was supposed to be providing when I first started, and it's like the thing that drives me crazy about community, in a sense, I think it's great, but when we box our creators in, that we don't allow them space to grow and to move and to be fully fleshed out human beings with other interests and things. Like,
I'm gonna be honest, from the outside watching, and from someone who's tried to create, I mean, like, I'm gonna try to create a little series. No, I'm not, because I just set myself a rule and I'm gonna not do it. So like, from the outside watching you guys do it, like, I love to see those things, but I'm going to be honest, if you missed one or if you substituted or I wouldn't care. I just want to see your content.
It's only us that cares.
Us
Lisa and I talked about that.
And like, that's the thing. Like, from the outside, I'm like, people are probably always disappointed in me. And then I go back and I think about watching other people. I'm like, no, they're not, because they're like me. They don't care. but that doesn't,
I don't notice.
it doesn't
90% of the time
register in my head.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things where I'm like, if I didn't do this piece of content, people would be like, the way that I internalize all this is never like, oh, there'd be a little people will be mad at me. Like that's how my brain works. Are you mad at me?
That's how my brain works too.
Are you mad at me right now? Like I'm always convinced I'm in trouble and people are mad at me. That's where I live. That's the land I live in.
I'm there too.
Like the amount of time I will check in with both Dani and Don. Are you mad at me right now? Am I good? Is that all right? Because the way that I'm always worried. But yeah, it's like it just I'm always feeling like I need to show up a particular way to be accepted. But I know logically that's not true. And I walk myself through it all the time. Like, no, Lisa, that's not how it is. But like, it takes so little to put me back in that place. And unfortunately, when you're on YouTube, sometimes you get a comment or something that puts me back in that place. And you're like, oh, I do have to show up just a particular way. And then I have to check myself all over again. And it's like starting from scratch.
It does. It's a cycle. It is. It's a cycle because something like that is going to trigger it. And I think when it triggers one of us, it triggers all of us. Because it's the truth. We all get super pissed when somebody makes our friends feel bad. And we're like,
that just happened. That just happened.
Yes. And we give each other really great advice.
We do, yeah.
And then we don't follow our own advice.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm fine. If it happens to somebody else, like I'm good. I can see it so clear. When it happens to me, like right down into the insecurity immediately is the place I go. Like, I'm disappointing people. Oh, I'm not doing good enough. Like, and yeah, it's so funny how our lenses are so different when we're looking at others versus when we're looking at ourselves, but it's so true. It's so true. So true. Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but like I get people asking me all the time about like YouTube questions and like, how do you do this and how do you do that? I'm like, I don't really know. I just show up. You show up.
Yeah.
And you just talk. That's it. You show up. There's
and at the end of the day, like I think the biggest thing is like recognizing that you're not gonna, unless you're very rare, you're not gonna start doing this and feel super confident about it. Like it's gonna be a long time. When you start a YouTube channel, I don't know about y'all, but it took me a long time before I could even watch my stuff enough to even edit it. I could not. I could not. Just even it was so uncomfortable. And talking to a camera felt so weird. Now it feels that part is easy. That part is like, I feel like I'm talking to people. That part's fine. But
yes, because now you see, like, it's almost like you see the people that, we see you guys. We see the names pop up. We see the comments.
Yeah. But that comes when over time, when you have enough interaction with people that you start to feel like you're talking to people and not to the camera. But that part gets easier. But the insecurity piece, the imposter syndrome piece, I don't know that that's changed significantly this entire time. Like,
I don't think that really goes away. No. It's so funny. I legit talked to my therapist about this because I have it in so many aspects of my life, obviously, because of the trauma, whatever. But like, we talk about that and she's like, oh shit, I lost my line of thought. Crap. What's the last thing you said, Lisa?
We were talking about how imposter syndrome doesn't necessarily go away.
Oh yeah. How it doesn't go away. She's like, there is a fine line between staying humble enough to know that, like the things you say and the things you do and, like how you say them and yada, yada, like it's one thing to be humble. It's one thing to have that. And it's really easy to step into self-deprecation.
Yeah.
Because it's hard once that humility, I guess, is that the right word?
Yeah, humility.
Once it gets to a certain level, but then you still keep going.
Yeah, you keep sinking further down. Like make yourself as small
further
as possible.
down. It's not about getting there, like staying in that humble zone. It's about coming up to that humble zone.
Because I think the thing is that humility is like recognizing that you're no more important or valuable than anybody else. But it's very easy to, instead of seeing yourself as equal, to see yourself as less than.
Less
than. Yourself as smaller and less
important. It's not about the up and down, like especially for a lot of us, especially in content, it's kind of like just putting us at level, like thinking that we're just even at level instead of below.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's a phrase I heard somewhere like, I am no better I am no better nor worse or no smarter nor dumber than anybody else. You know, kind of like I'm no more or less valuable than any other person anywhere. And like recognizing that means you have to look at both sides. Like humility requires that you look, to me anyways, it's like you have to look at both sides. Like I'm not less valuable than other people, but I'm just not more valuable than other people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's up. But if you think about it, that's such a tight space to occupy.
Very tight.
It's very small. It's to recognize yourself as equal. You don't want to get ahead. And I'll be honest, I would so much rather err on the side of going down than up. Because I don't think
that's more comfortable. That's more comfortable for most of us.
It is more comfortable. Yeah. And you know, I don't know if that was a thing for y'all, but like I know down here, like it was instilled in us as little children. Like, you know, you watch what you say. You know, you don't brag. You're not better than anybody else. You're not like, it was like a really big thing for us. Like, you don't brag and you don't do this and you don't do that. And it's like, okay. But at the same time, it's one thing. It's like, it's the spectrum of things. Like what is considered bragging because I'm excited that I got this tarot deck? Is that bragging? Or is saying like, I got this first and I got this. So it's like, it's a fine line in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm excited. I want to share. I want to talk to people about this. But some people, I mean, think about the conversation of tarot collection in general.
Yeah.
People start feeling like everybody's just bragging.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny because I think the reason that we all struggle with this, like if we're being really real, there's a very good chance that all of us have had people in our lives, either that were in our lives for a long time or a short time, who always treated us as less than. And having those experiences, whether it's like in Dani's case, culturally, as well as interpersonally, or whether it's interpersonally, we've been treated like we were less than, and we've embedded those messages, you know, in our energy, and we carry those with us. Like it's kind of like being like believing how you've been treated. Like, you know how they have that saying, people show you who they really are in their behavior. Well, they also, in how they treat us, other people can cause us to internalize seeing ourselves in a particular way. Because if we're always treated like we're dumb, or we're not as good as, or we're not as grown up as, or whatever, we're going to internalize that and hold that as truth, even though it's not truth. That's just somebody else's bullshit that we absorbed like sponges and took on and let it be our who we are. And that's such hard stuff to deprogram ourselves from.
It's really so hard.
It's a daily struggle. It's a daily struggle.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, just like everybody else, like you kind of go through those things, those waves, even like during the day. Like you can have a great morning, and then by the end of the day, you're just like
done. So done.
You know, it's like riding these waves.
I'm riding some crazy roller coasters right now because I'm like every single new thing I do to get ready for next month, like everything I do, I'm like, who the fuck was I to think I could do all of these things? Why I am in so deep right now. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like I've got to trust myself to do a really big thing and like make it all work. And I'm so scared of letting people I'm going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm just really scared of letting people down. Like that is my hugest fear going into this is, oh shit, what if I do all of this and like people are disappointed, or I don't meet their expectations, or something goes wrong that I could have foreseen, but I didn't because I didn't know, or even like maybe, you know.
There's so many what ifs. There's so many.
You got a net though. We got you. We got you.
I know you.
And this community, like, I just want to reiterate this, especially this being our second one and like having it on my channel. And, you know, we had our first one on there, and the way that you guys have rallied around all of us these past few months, like, don't think we don't know. Don't think we don't see. You guys are the reason why we are here, why we're talking, why we're collected together, why we're starting to be more in everybody's face, because we love you guys so much, and you are a big part of our lives, and this community means a lot. And the thing is like, you support us, and we feel that support, and just know that we love y'all.
We love
like
so
y'all
much.
are the reason why, like not the reason why, but you are.
It's the reason.
It is the reason. It's the people.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be worth it otherwise.
It really
there's not a chance in hell I would be doing any of this without y'all. Not any of it.
It's so much work and it's so much stress, and it's the people who make it worth it. It's the community that makes it worth it. I hate when people say we don't have community.
That pisses me off so much. I'm like, that is such crap.
Yeah,
because this is more of a, I have had so many, I've taken part in so many different in-person, whatever, communities, and I have never experienced anything like this. And yeah, there's going to be elements that are not easy sometimes. That's how communities are. But like, that's how any group of people is. But the way that everybody here shows up real and raw and loving and accepting of each other in general, and I get there's always exceptions, but in general, we have such a supportive, loving community here. And yeah. If you can't see it, that's your problem.
Yeah, exactly.
It's here. It's right in front of
me. I love you guys. Stop.
Yeah,
we really do. And like, I know we've hit the 220. We're gonna have to call it a day.
Shit.
We got through. I mean, we got through like what, 3?
We got through 3.
But we knew that. We knew it wasn't going to go too far, but we definitely wanted to put these topics out there because I think they were important to really talk. And as funny as it is, like we dealt with some of these things in the past week or so. And so it was really interesting to just be able to talk this out with everybody. And I'm sorry, I'm not a very good host. Y'all going to have to forgive me.
You've been
beautiful. I thought you were perfect. Yeah. You were perfect.
So fast. I'm like, I didn't get to read half of what's going on in the.
That's how it would be in these chats because we're talking to each other, so it's so hard.
We're talking to each other, so like, guys, know that we will see. I usually go back and I go through the stuff, and like, I'm sorry if we didn't see anything or we didn't answer anything.
We're not great at multitasking.
We're not good multitaskers, especially not in this. Like, we're here to talk to each other with y'all, and so it's like a back and forth, and so you know. Thanks for being here.
Yes.
Thank you for hanging out, and thanks you guys. We'll be back on Lisa's channel next time. Look for us about the same time. I got all of our stuff posted in the description, mine and Lisa's and Dawn's, and also Ella's and Joanna's and Leah's that created this tag. I'm sorry that we, didn't go through so many, but it was really fun. Thank you for talking about this kind of stuff. And we'll see y'all later. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging. Thanks, Dawn, for coming on with
us. Thanks for having me.
It was just like Dawn, expect Dawn. Dawn will be.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Hanging. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.